Good rising, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Talk with me, Karen B. It is a pleasure to be here with you once again on this fine Moonday morning. The moon is 90%, 92% currently waxing. Waxing because we're heading towards a full moon. And today is the 20th of May. We're already almost halfway through 2024. What do you think about the year so far? I feel like it's been anticlimactic so far, but you know, it is an election year. I'm sure they're waiting for the big hurrah. Although some kind of crazy stuff's been going on too. What's up, everybody? Hello to everybody on Rockfin, Rumble, Facebook is not letting me stream to it. It like changed its, I don't know, gives me some warning. It's like Facebook updated their streaming blah blah blah. And then I went into Facebook and I was trying to figure it out yesterday and I couldn't. You know, so I didn't see what settings needed to be changed. It said something about streaming to groups, but I wasn't trying to stream to a group. I don't stream to a group, I stream to a page. I'm not sure what's going on. I know Rose streams to that same page, her crow stuff, so I wonder if she's been having problems too. British royals, Nazis, and the Middle East have more in common than you may imagine. Well, you know, wouldn't surprise me. Hey, Tony Coriolis, Artist Seer, Twilight Nights. There's Ted Summer in chat. Ted Summer's in chat because he's not working currently. So he gets to hang out quite a bit here right now for a little bit. Mark Wood, Sue Finelli, Brian Stavely, Jana, Mojo Shop, Good Times for All, Annie D, awaiting arrival for grandchild in Guatemala, says Artist Seer. Artist Seer, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. I'm happy for you. AI checking in. What did the AI say, Brian? I missed it. Did the AI come in my chat? I had to change my weekly motto from F Monday to F Tuesday. Coffee Talk makes Monday great again. Sweet cheers, BCC. Les the Iron Maiden. TC Zamman. Beautiful sunny Moonday. Time to open the shop, says C Pair 6. Break out the makeup kit, yes. Sorry, not sorry. Matrix Exit, good to see you. Jason Talbot. Flat Earth Andy, Southern Belle. Billingtano. Zulu 1. My chat jumped, I lost my place. So I hope I'm not trying to skip people here. Just jumping around. Are you guys talking a lot? Or is my chat just dumb? Dennis Ormerod. MFT, hey, good to see you. Aisling717. Scrotal Xerox. Realize, realize, realize. Flat Earth Andy. We can land on Venus. Stephanie Martin, Effed Up World, Free Flow. Hey, what's up? What's up, you guys? I'm almost done. So what do you guys, seriously though, this year is kind of weird. I got some weird vibes, huh? Excuse me, sorry you guys. Anyway, so yeah, I was just reading about this helicopter crash that happened in Iran that killed like their president and foreign minister and others found dead at helicopter crash site. Because I had not read the details of this yet. Because I've been busy, you know, I was doing lots of yard work this weekend. I figure I'll just catch up here with y'all on stuff. But, you know, I had to go do stuff. I'm on double duty right now. Because Ted is rehabilitating. Which is fine. I want him to do that. But it just makes me busy. I was hardly at my computer at all this weekend. I didn't really get very much editing done. Because I just didn't. It's hard to concentrate on editing when you can't just do it for like hours. Because when you're editing, you're like trying to compose sometimes like a storyline for something. Excuse me. I have something in my throat. And you got to think about it, you know, you want it to flow, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes you want to do little editing things to make it look better. And a lot of times those things take a lot of time. And you know what's the worst part is that nobody gives a shit, really. People won't even notice it. You'll notice it, but other people won't. Anyway, that's how editing goes for me. Spending a bunch of time on little details that I don't even know if they'll get noticed. You know? And I don't mean that in like the whatchamacallit, the event videos, like the live videos. Those are pretty straightforward. Like hardest part about those is just finding all the videos, putting them back together in order, trying to cover up all of the jostling and switching of cameras and stuff, and people walking in front and not being able to see slides. That, well, I guess that kind of stuff is time consuming too, but in a different way. You know, I don't think people realize. I think that's why people started live streaming. In fact, I do know that's why people started live streaming. It was because it was so much easier to just get stuff together and go live and talk about it than it is to sit down and compose a video and edit it all out and then render it and do good sound and like make a production of it. But also those type of videos are way more shareable, you know, than like a live stream. People don't want to watch a live stream that's like already been live. They'll like to watch it while it's live, but they don't want to watch it after. Most people don't want to watch it after that. They don't want to watch the live. And you know, I'm guilty of that. I'm not a big fan of watching live streams that have already happened, although I will. I mean, certain ones I will, you know, if they're really interesting, you know, if it's some sort of, you know, if it's interesting enough. But most of the time it's not. I mean, let's just be real. It's more fun. It's more about socializing, and that's why people like YouTube. It's like they want to socialize and they want to be in chat with people, and they want to, you know, they want to interact. They want interaction. So that's why it ended up being that way. But there is still a there's still a place for these edited videos, you know. They really stand up longer over time. They're more shareable. You know, it's easier to keep cussing out of them. You know? Which also lends to it being more shareable. Which is why I think I want to focus more on that. That's why I want to focus on creating more stuff like that. Like stuff that is shareable. That stands up better over time. Right? Hello, Chicago artist. Good to see you. Jason Talbot. Can no longer discern what is real or staged, right? Well, everybody thinks everything's fake. So it's like, well, okay, what's reality then? You know, and it's like, I guess we're all guilty of that. Like, everything's a lie. Because, like, sometimes it's like people will go, we'll ask you, well, what they lied to us about? And you're like, the first reaction is like, well, everything. Because the list is so long, right? Because the list is, like, it's a mile long. I mean, we can't really deny that. It is a long list of stuff that we've been lied to about. However, you know, there is still things that do happen in the real world. Sometimes shit goes sideways because humans do make mistakes. You know, we're fallible beings. We're not perfect. You know? So things go wrong. Shit happens. Shit goes sideways. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all been in situations where, you know, you thought you had to do something that's kind of difficult and you thought it was going to go one way and it went completely another way. I mean, was that a psyop? You know? Did you stage it? What was your agenda? You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some sort of logic and reason applied to certain things, so you know. Not that I'm not against speculation. I speculate too. I speculate that the people of questionable faith that have the six-pointed star are making homunculuses in the tunnels. And they're doing blood sacrifices to maybe help create these homunculuses. But listen, you know, that's my speculation. I know it's crazy. But I don't run around going, if don't you see? It's the truth. It's 100% true. If you don't believe me, you're a shill. If you don't think they're making homunculuses in the tunnels, well then, maybe you think we went to the moon too. I bet you think we live on a globe. Normie. Joshua Edwards says, I'm actually awake for the start of the show. Hey, welcome. You'd probably look really gay with makeup. Probably. When I see men with makeup, you know, like, I think that looks like they probably are a gay homosexual. They're a homosexual, most likely. Although punk rockers and stuff back in the 80s, they used to wear like eyeliner and mascara and stuff. I didn't really think that was gay. I mean, at the time I actually kind of thought it was hot. But they weren't like what I'm doing. They weren't like doing eyeshadow and like rouge and lipstick and like contouring and shit like they do now. Reality is mean. I have not shown Bezos' rocket blast off yet. Did Bezos blast off a rocket? I'm telling you guys, I really haven't been looking at shit because I've been busy. I'm telling you, I've been taking care of Ted. So, you know, that and doing yard work and housework, and then I gotta go take care of another house, and I'm a busy bitch. Plus, I'm trying to cook, you know. I barely made it here. Yeah, The Cure, Alice Cooper. Right, exactly. Wasn't it Iran that recently sent missiles into Israel? Yes, maybe, just maybe that had something to do with the heli crash. Possibly, Dr. Sai. Agree with you there. I mostly watch live videos later, not much of a chatter. Oh, well, Flat Earth ANCAP, that's cool. Everybody's different. Steel Panther. What's wrong with Ted? Ted's back. Ted's back went out, and we need to get him. He's gonna be going to the chiropractor. In fact, I'm gonna take him to the chiropractor later today. We're gonna get him all straightened out. He's gonna be fine. Tony Coriolis says, Zulu 1, I'm holding down the park. 4 wandering bums, 2 in a car with no license plate, and I picked up 1 mask. Typical Monday. Oh, Tony, that's so funny. Rockfin, Carrie, hi Carrie. And Raised by Gypsies, and Scott Hunter. And Matrix 6, and Leo Slayer. Homunculi is the plural of homunculus. Okay. I probably could say those people, Dr. Pyrostein on Rumble, but here's the thing. YouTube now has this, they have just updated their policies. This is why I want to be like, fuck YouTube, which is probably going to get picked up by their stupid AI. So now they're using AI to listen to all your language, and they have their new community guidelines. You know, their community guidelines about how you can talk and what you can talk about and what you can and can't say and blah, 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 blah. And they're always updating it. And so now they've updated it, and it's like so vague. It's like you can't talk about, they basically want to get rid of all independent speak, right? Any sort of independent thought or questioning of the system, like at all. They want to get rid of all of it off of YouTube. It's them tube, they tube. That's what it is, right? I mean, really what I should do is just start the show here, and then after an hour or half hour or whatever, shut it down, and then go somewhere else where we can fucking talk, where we can talk about shit. You cannot talk about anything openly on YouTube anymore. Just for all of you wonderful people on YouTube, like, I love you guys. I love all of you. And I want to, you know, I love interacting with all of you, but YouTube is shit. Shit. And that'll probably get picked up by their AI, you know? So anything they say, they'll come back and they'll be like, this is not suitable for advertisements. Like, you can't, I mean, I don't get very much ad revenue from YouTube as it is. Like, the only revenue I get is if people tip me or they become members to my channel. That's the only way, really. Because there's no getting ad revenue from YouTube, because everything is too sensitive for this, or too sensitive for that, or not suitable for this person, and not suitable for that. Blah, 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 blah. But here we are. All the time, every day, on PoopTube. despise YouTube. Got banned and I'm never watching anything on YouTube ever again, says Leo Slayer, right? What do you guys think? Since I'm over here in Rumble, what do you guys think about Rumble chat? Rumble chat seems reasonable, right? Let me pull out this Rumble chat and I'll put it on screen. Pop out chat. Here's a Rumble chat. It really doesn't look so different from YouTube chat. See, they got little animated emoji. I don't know what these are. These are funny. They got a little cat doing the head jam thingy. Look at that. They don't have that on YouTube. Here's a, what's this? An astronaut? Says guns. Anyway, look at it, it's got a dancing pug icon. Merca. Anyway, you know, not that I have a whole lot of faith in Rumble staying up long term, but it is a pretty good alternative. There's also Rockfin. Their chat is not as good, but there are some people over there on Rockfin. And I appreciate all my Rockfin viewers. But, yeah. Kind of hoping Karen's dulcet tones help me nod off. Are you trying to go to sleep, Liz? You are getting very sleepy. Biden's flying Jew globe. See, you can say whatever. Yeah. I'm totally down. I like Rumble. Rumble. You know, nobody, actually, to be honest with you, nobody's ever censored me except for YouTube. Except YouTube. YouTube is literally the only platform that has removed my content because they don't like it for wrong think or wrong speak. Only YouTube has done that. I've never, hello artists here, yay! Testing out the Rumble chat. Yes, come test out the Rumble chat. Because they are the freaking thought police. ThemTube is full of thought police. And it's run by those people. Right? Might as well call it JewTube. All 18 of us. Yeah. The Lighthouse platform is up now. Is it? I had not heard. When did that happen? No free speech, no freedoms, total lockdown. If the public are only now using AI, you gotta ask yourself, how long have they been using it? Right? They have been using it, but it's like now they're like, yeah, we're monitoring your stuff with AI. You know. So now it's like, you just can't say shit. You can't say shit on YouTube. You know, they're always unsubscribing people from my channel. People don't get alerts. You know, remember how long it was where you could type Karen B in YouTube and it wouldn't pop up for the longest? And now it's starting to pop up again, but it wouldn't. Because they don't like people who break their spells. If I was up on YouTube propagating bullshit, you'd probably get suggested a bunch of Karen B videos. You know? If I was outside looking at piles of goo and telling you that it was like fucking a melted, you know, petrified Titan tree stump, I'd probably get like 50,000 subs and like lickety split. Cheers, Ali B. Seems like it takes being banned from YouTube for an audience to switch over to Rumble. Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, mountains, Georgia, buying a little piece of land. As what to avoid or which state? I like the mountain areas in the Carolinas. I like North and South Carolina. I've not lived in Tennessee. I'm not a fan of Georgia. Georgia kind of went retarded during COVIDs. South Carolina stayed open. North Carolina went a kind of semi-retarded, but not really. It was more the government. It's just because North Carolina has a blue governor and South Carolina has a red governor. So there, North Carolina is a little bit more liberal than South Carolina. Asheville is like the San Francisco of the East Coast, sort of, I guess. As far as like wokeness, Asheville's gone pretty woke. But I like the South. I believe the South is going to be the last holdout. Maybe the Midwest too, South and Midwest. I heard BitChute is going to add live streaming. I can't get into my channel on BitChute. And I've tried to be like, I lost my password, resend my password, and it's just I never get the email that responds and says, here's your password reset link. Like, it's just gone. Isn't propagate what seeds do? You lube. Oh yes, when I was on YouTube as Yellow Spider Guy, YouTube removed Karen from my subs and I did not realize for a month. Wow. Yeah, man, they do it all the time. My sub count has stayed pretty stagnant for a while. Like, it'll go up and then it'll go down, and then it'll go up and then it'll go down, and then it'll go up and it'll go down. So it just ends up staying pretty, like, pretty much the same. BitChute is rough. Yeah. Hello, Jenny Spark. All liberals are bad. More chicks hatching? Oh, that's cool, Thunder Chicken. Let me check that out. Beta. Oh, it's Lighthouse Beta. Huh. It's like a shopping kind of looking website. Though, video. Huh. Days of Noah animated series, huh? Cool. So it's a lot of Christian content. Kingdom and Context, of course. Sadaloon, the remix. Is it music?
Sadaloon, Sadaloon, where did you go? Way up high in your big balloon. Sadaloon, Sadaloon, where did you go?
Holy smokes. Where's the volume on this sucker? Oh, here we go. That's pretty cool. God, it took me a minute to figure out what the volume was on that sucker, man. That was loud. That's pretty cool. Seems to play videos pretty well. I'm gonna play some more videos. I just want to test it.
So, ancient cosmology. What is it? Well, when I was being force-fed information in school, I was told it looked something like this. Anybody else ever hear that? That the world was something that these people thought they would just sell off the edge. They were dumb, and we were getting this new wisdom and it was addicting
How do you
getting
make
this
it
new
full
wisdom.
screen?
Okay, we were becoming wise with worldly wisdom, and it was something that we looked forward to.
Oh, darn it. How? Oh, I see. It changes. How do you get it full screen? Ah, there we go.
What is it? Well, when I was being force-fed information in school, I was told it looked something like this. Anybody else ever hear that? That the world was something that these people thought they would just sell off the edge. They were dumb, and we were getting this new wisdom, and it was addicting.
This
getting
looks
this new
like
wisdom.
at the
We were
premiere
becoming
of
wise with worldly wisdom, and it was something that we looked forward to taking home to our parents and showing them how wise we were, and that
the
we were
cosmology
wiser than the
movie.
people. But when we actually do some research, we find out that these ancient cosmologists, they didn't believe that at all.
Yeah, the Fazooks.
They
Ancient
believed in
Origins
a
Untold
firmament,
Ancient Cosmology.
an
That's
expanse
right.
above
That was
an
at the premiere.
immovable
I was
world,
there.
Something I had never even heard of. I had never heard that there was some solid expanse above us according to the Bible or according to these ancient cosmologists. Not one time did that come up. They all believed in this until recent times. This is a recent construct, this globe model, heliocentric. In other words, if you break that word down, it's centered around Helios, which is an ancient sun
Pretty cool.
god.
Okay, so it defaults to market, social. Cool. So video, social, and then market, live. Cool. Not bad. Well, that's cool. I'm happy to see that they're getting that off the ground. How do you make it dark mode? Better have dark mode? Well, let's see. Okay, I'll go back and try to find it. Is there dark mode? I don't see. Search. No results for dark mode. I don't think they have a dark mode yet. We're gonna have to suggest that. Suggest a dark mode. Hey, Lord Racer. Flow state. YouTube sucks, but I don't like the way Rumble formats on my phone. Outdoors. In Brevard? Which song about? Oh yes, Jana, yes. I will be going to the FEB meetup on the 27th in Tennessee. That's cool. Where is Flattoberfest this year? I don't know, you guys. I don't have anything to tell you about Flattoberfest yet. I don't know if there's gonna be... I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on myself, so... It's been rough this year, I'm not gonna lie. Having trouble finding a venue. But there are some meetups going on. FE Brothers, like you were just saying. If you go to flatearthfestivals.com, go to Flat Earth Friendly Meetups. There you go. Apison, Tennessee. Not sure where that is. Oklahoma, May 25th. There's a meetup. May 18th. Oh, Shaking Hands with Strangers. That one's done. Flat Coast, Florida. That one's done. Then there's going to be one Johnson City, New York coming up. And of course, all the other regular meetups. They probably just haven't thought of it. Oklahoma. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Oklahoma City. OKC from 6 to 9 p.m. at Red Rock Canyon Grill. There you go, fathead, jamming the plane. 22-year cycle is the ideal time for large projects. What do you mean? Which 22-year cycle?
Welcome to the conference center. There is one party in the conference. You are a host.
There we go. Phone lines are open, 848-222-2480. The year cycle from the energy on the last birthday to the next. What birthday? Stop trying to confuse me. Anyway, so that's cool that they got Lighthouse going. It's beta version. Oh, default market, huh? Underhill Apothecary, that's cool. So anyway, yeah. Iranian president, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and the country's foreign minister were found dead Monday, hours after their helicopter crashed in fog, leaving the Islamic Republic without two key leaders as extraordinary tensions grip the wider Middle East. So, wow, look at how thick that fog is. That is some thick fog. In this photo provided by Moj News Agency, rescue team members carry the body of a victim after a helicopter carrying Iranian president crashed. Iran has offered no cause for the crash, nor suggested sabotage brought down the helicopter, which fell in mountainous terrain in a sudden intense fog. In Tehran, Iran's capital, businesses were open and children attended school Monday. However, there was a noticeable presence of both uniformed and plainclothes security forces downtown. The crash comes as the Israel-Hamas war roils the region. Iran-backed Hamas led the attack and started the conflict, and Hezbollah also supported by Tehran, has fired rockets at Israel. Last month, Iran launched its own unprecedented drone and missile attack on Israel. Right. I don't believe this. But okay. A hardliner who formerly led the country's judiciary, Raisi was viewed as a protege of Khamenei. During his tenure, relations have also continued to deteriorate with the West as Iran enriched uranium closer than ever to weapons-grade levels and supplied bomb-carrying drones to Russia for its war in Ukraine. His government has also faced years of mass protests over the ailing economy and women's rights, making the moment that much more sensitive. The crash killed all 8 people aboard a Bell helicopter, which Iran purchased in the early 2000s, according to the state-run IRNA news agency reported. Among the dead were Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amirabdollahian, I can't say it, the governor of Iran's East Azerbaijan province, a senior cleric from Tabriz, a Revolutionary Guard official, and 3 crew members. Iran has flown Bell helicopters extensively since the Shah's era, but aircraft in Iran face a shortage of parts, in part because of Western sanctions, and often fly without safety checks. Against that backdrop, former Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif sought to blame the United States for the crash in a new interview on Monday. Well, look at that fog, though. Bro, that's some harsh fog. One of the main culprits of yesterday's tragedy is the United States, which embargoed the sale of aircraft and aviation parts to Iran and does not allow the people of Iran to enjoy good aviation facilities. These will be recorded in the list of U.S. crimes against the Iranian people. State TV gave no immediate cause for the crash that occurred in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. Footage released by IRNA Monday showed that the agency described as the crash site across a steep valley in a green mountain range. The U.S. has yet to comment publicly on Raisi's death. Ali Bagheri Khani, a nuclear negotiator for Iran, will serve as the country's acting foreign minister. Condolences poured in from neighbors and allies after Iran confirmed there were no survivors from the crash. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in a post on the social media platform that his country stands with Iran in his time of sorrow. Russian President Vladimir Putin, in a statement released by the Kremlin, described Raisi as a true friend of Russia. Death also stunned Iranians. Khamenei declared 5 days of public mourning, but many have been ground down by the collapse of the country's real currency and worries about regional conflicts spinning out of control with Israel or even with Pakistan, which Iran exchanged fire with earlier this year as well. Jeez. For now, Khamenei was named the first vice president, Mohammad Mokber, as caretaker in line with the constitution, which says a new presidential election should be called within 50 days. In this video, this is President Raisi left, shakes hands with Azeri counterpart. So this is the guy who got killed. This is the Bell helicopter. Meanwhile, mass protests in the country have raged for years. The most recent involved the 2022 death of Mahsa Amini, a woman who had been earlier detained over her allegedly loose headscarf or hijab. The months-long security crackdown that followed the demonstrations killed more than 500 people and saw over 22,000 detained. Whoa. Did that really happen? In March, a United Nations investigative panel found that Iran was responsible for the physical violence that led to Amini's death. Raisi is the second Iranian president to die in office. In 1981, a bomb blast killed President Mohammad Ali Rajai in the chaotic days after the country's Islamic revolution. Huh. Well, wonder what's gonna happen now. They took advantage of that fog. Weather manipulation made it possible, allegedly. Iran etymology from the Aryans. They think it was a takeover attempt. Was that a Boeing chopper? I don't know. Satellite data for that area missing. As soon as I hear any of those countries' names, I stop listening. You might as well be talking about the monolith on Phobos. Bell Aircraft. Boeing. These are new things, though. They were flying an old Bell helicopter. Utility workhorse. Look at these guns on the side. Look at that. Look at that. Are those guns? Those look like guns. Light attack. So there's it's got a few large rounds. Bell Huey. So they're saying that because of the sanctions, they can't get parts for their helicopters and... Well, you know, I don't know if that's true, but couldn't they just get helicopters from somebody else? Does anybody else make helicopters? Like, is the US the only country that has access to making helicopter parts? Is that really how it is? I mean, I don't know. That's a genuine question. You guys are talking about getting your windshield replaced. Is it... You guys don't care about Iran? An assassination of a president kicking off another war. Same script, different decade. Exactly, NDB. That's what I'm saying. So, I don't like the Health Ranger, but I was reading this post, and I mean, I don't know if he could be accurate, but well, no. Actually, I see he's talking about nuclear weapons. He's over here talking about, he thinks it's going to start a nuclear war because look at him. This is dumb, actually. What am I thinking? Now I remember what he was saying and it was dumb. I hope everybody here realizes the seriousness of what just happened with the killing of 4 top Iranian officials, including their president, in the helicopter crash. Anybody celebrating this is a complete fool. This event just set off a dangerous new timeline for our world that could literally end human civilization as we know it. Dude, why do all these people with big followings love to push fear? We're all gonna die! The world's gonna end! Like, they push so much black pill bullshit. they're not going to blow up the world with nuclear weapons. Okay? They're not going to end civilization with nuclear weapons. For example, if Iran comes to the belief that Israel was involved, then Iran's retaliation is likely to be highly over-delivered because the nation of Iran is currently steeped in emotional fury and very likely seeking vengeance against their perceived enemies. Even if this evidence is linking as such enemies to this helicopter crash is sparse, this non-reasoned, highly emotional reaction, should it occur, would be exactly what Israel is looking for to pull the United States into war with Iran, and that shift would obviously bring Russia into the fray, because Russia cannot allow Iran to be destroyed by the West. This means we could very rapidly escalate to events such as Russia destroying U.S. aircraft carriers with hypersonic nuclear missiles, or Iran destroying Tel Aviv with a nuclear ballistic strike, with Israel retaliating with its own nuclear weapons. Yes, Iran has nuclear weapons. If Russia begins taking out the U.S. naval assets, the U.S. Navy attempt at nuclear strike on Russia, which would unleash Russia's thousands of nuclear warheads targeting the entire continental United States, plus every major city and military base in Western Europe. I mean, holy fucking apocalyptico, right? Like, this guy is like, we're all gonna die, everything's gonna blow up, all the cities are gonna be blown up, everything's gonna blow up. Shut up. It's not how they portray in the news, right? We have like Iranian royalty members, family members that live in the United States. They live like, and they're rich, like in LA. They're just hanging out with celebrities and shit. I mean, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Not, yeah, what do you say on the existence of nukes? I lean towards not real. I lean towards not real too. I think they just blew up a bunch of shit with disgusting amounts of TNT, and then they just put that visual into your mind, into the consciousness of everywhere. And as far as like destroying aircraft carriers with nuclear whatever, aircraft carriers literally run on nuclear reactors. Well, the newer ones, they have nuclear reactors inside of them, and that's what powers the carrier. It's like a city on the ocean, right? So it has a nuclear power plant inside of it that literally powers everything. Powers the little catapult things that launch and catch the aircraft. It gives them electricity. It desalinates water. It's like their water run, like everything. So, all that would have to be done is to somehow damage the nuclear power plant on the carrier to create some sort of explosion or meltdown, and then be all, nuke. The Iranians are celebrating the death of the SOB of a president. Mainstream media are not reporting that. Really? Let's just go over here to RT. Can we still get to RT.com? DDoS guard? Did you see that? Did you guys see that? Me trying to get to RT? It said DDoS. Wow. So let's search here. How will he be remembered? Let's see if it says. anything. Is a controversial figure in Iran's modern history. Before becoming president in 2021, he was the head of Iran's strict judiciary. At age 25, Raisi became deputy prosecutor of Tehran and rapidly climbed the judicial ladder, later becoming Iran's attorney general. Just before 2021 presidential election, he served as chief justice of the Supreme Court. During his tenure as the head of Iran's judiciary, Raisi was sanctioned by the United States and faced significant distrust with Iran due to his role in the legal system. He won the presidency in an election marked by the lowest voter turnout in Iran's history, with only 49% participation, and secured nearly 60% of the votes. That's interesting. Raisi's presidency was notably marked by the hijab revolution in the fall of 2022, when millions protested for the liberalization of women's dress codes after the notorious death of a 21-year-old girl allegedly at the hands of law enforcement for wearing her headscarf incorrectly. Despite his controversial background, Raisi proved to be pragmatic and consistent leader. His political strategy focused on strengthening ties with neighboring and regional bullshit. I don't know. Iranian government promises no disruption after president's death. Putin pays tribute to late Iranian president. What's the other, this is the one that's written by, this is the Mint Press. Let's see. This is not really talking so much about... How about... What's dude's name again? Let's search his name. Ibrahim Raisi. Give me some text I can copy. The Israeli spy who infiltrated Mint Press. That's hilarious. This one doesn't really talk. Nobody talks about it. How do you find, what is Iranian news? Al Jazeera. Go down. His time in office was dominated by anti-government protest. Iran's supreme leader. Who's the supreme leader? That's what they call their leader, a supreme leader? And then they have a president? That's so weird. I don't know. I don't trust these. I don't know. I don't know nothing about it. Iran mourns after Raisi dies in helicopter crash, blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't know what the people thought about their president. Nobody, you know what? The people of all these nations don't want to go to war. It's these governments. It's these war pigs. It's the military industrial complex, right? Maybe, I guess it is America, right? They want to go to war. They're like, hey, yeah, start this war, start that war. We'll send you some weapons. You can start the war with each other, and you guys can all buy your weapons from us, right? I have so many Middle Eastern friends, and they are a lot cooler than the Jews I've met. Witsit was talking about some government official from Europe was saying Earth hasn't been proven to be a globe yet. Really? Is he supreme leader like royalty or something? Yeah, I don't know. They get a supreme leader, America gets geriatric leader. Hilarious. Yeah, nobody wants war. We all just want to live our lives. That's the whole thing. We all want to live our lives. It's the governments that want war. And these psychopathic elitist assholes who have way too much money and way too much power. And yeah, that's it. People need to stop giving these people power. Stop paying attention to these assholes. Oh yeah, so then you guys were talking about Witsit. Did you guys watch that debate? Did you watch that debate? Holy shit. It was probably one of the hardest thing to watch. The Great Heliocentrum debate at the Lore Lodge. Sweet baby Jesus. This guy was just the worst. This guy right here is like Professor Dave 2.0. He was so whiny. And he was like, you don't know what's that? You don't know. I'm a historian and you don't know. Oh, it was so hard to watch. This is why I hate doing debates. I can't participate in these things because I can't sit there and watch somebody behave like a little like snotty brat and not like say, why are you acting like a little snotty brat? But he does. Witsit does. He can do it. So I don't know how he does it.
Though, right? That's not something I can verify. FE officially would say we don't know.
All right, so it's kind of we don't think it's this, but we also don't know for sure what it is, I guess. Oh, hang on, we lost your audio. Is that on our end or his end?
It was probably me. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually coined the term falsification as independent of replacement.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like, I think, the way that most flat earthers approach this. You know, because like I could make up stories. I actually think I have pretty good ideas about what it could be to answer a lot of the questions, but I would like to be very clear and say this is speculation, man. I can't go below the earth. No one's been further than 8 miles. So
this is why I like Witsit.
anyone claiming to know what's below 8 miles is just guessing, right? Whether he claimed that he was a pilot, he would fly flat earthers there. And so we contacted him and was like, let's do it. And he's like, oh no, I'm not going to tell you the charter. I'm not going to do it. Whatever. He even raised money. But when we contacted him behind the scenes, he's like, no, I'm not actually going to fly it. I'm not going to tell you what plane that I work for or anything like that. So it's kind of like a show. There's someone doing it now again, right? Playing that, acting like they're going to bring us down.
This is actually okay. When did he start going sideways?
Wrong. I used to work in SEO, so I got very used to
Here's
dealing with
a
Google.
time lapse of the midnight sun.
Following the
taken
time lapse of the
over.
midnight sun is seen from Scott Base.
I wouldn't know. I don't know.
Well,
But,
I'm thinking about if you have the stream, it's. You might be able to share. Maybe if you share your screen with him so we can see what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Because
Always the same shit.
I'm at.
Always the
Yeah,
same
that's a good
shit over and
question.
over.
So, I will say, flat Earth was actually still even being taught in America in the 1900s in certain places.
Wait,
It wasn't
hang
necessarily
on.
the.
When you say that, what do you mean?
There were certain schools that still taught like a geocentric flat Earth. There are articles about it you can find in the early 1900s.
Which schools? Like colleges, elementary schools?
Elementary, like more primary up to high school ages.
Okay, I'm gonna have.
No,
to,
school was a bit different actually back then, but
I'm aware.
yeah,
I'm aware.
yeah, you
I'm
can look up
aware.
newspaper
I know. I used to do this. I know everything.
articles, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, I will go ahead and tell you, it was more popularly held that it was a globe, right? For sure. But if you look, I guess to answer your question directly as to who's lying, I think almost no one's consciously lying. There are some people, right? There are some people. The government is not letting us go out past 60th south latitude. That's what I mean by the government's lying. The government's hiding what's past the 60th south latitude, and they went there in 1946, Operation High Jump, and that's after we brought the Nazis over here in 1945, Operation Paperclip, and then we came back and founded NASA and signed the Antarctic Treaty within 1 year of each other, 1958 and 1959. That's after Operation Deep Freeze, where we founded Little America and Antarctica. If you assume the Earth's a globe and you assume the sun is super far away, he wasn't correct about the distance as to what they claim now, right? But he assumed it was so far away that the rays were parallel.
I came
So if
in
you
towards
assume
the end when
spherical trig,
this
you can
guy
get
was
a
losing his
circumference. He was
shit.
a little off, but anyway, he didn't prove it. You can do the same thing on a flat Earth, and
Well,
we've shown that.
There's a few things that I would want to address there. So I think the first one would be that he's definitely not the first one. It was the implication, based on what we do know about this time period, is that it was probably Pythagoras or one of his students that first came up with the idea the Earth was a sphere. We know this because it doesn't actually appear in Greece at all, as in recorded history, until Plato. Plato brings this over from southern Italy after he had studied at a Pythagorean academy. He brings it over from Italy, and then he starts teaching it in his academy. We don't have any record of, what his explanation was, but what we do have is Aristotle, who came to the conclusion that the Earth must be a sphere, because if you are in Greece, if you're in Athens, then there are stars you can see from Athens, there
The
are
lights
stars you
in
can
the
see
sky.
in Egypt that you cannot see from Athens. So that
And
was
ships.
yeah,
Ships
there-
over the horizon.
ships over the horizon. Another one actually comes from Herodotus. It's unclear if it's a true story or not. It's something that he claims to have heard. We're not sure about if it actually happened, but he claims it did. And the way in which he actually claims it didn't. He's like, we heard this story from Egypt. We think it's BS because obviously the sun couldn't ever possibly be on your right while you're sailing west. That's impossible. And what he said was that there were a group of Phoenicians hired by an Egyptian pharaoh, Necho II, I want to say something.
From bottom up, generally not much, because in the
Yes, it
shore that I
does.
go to, there's a large city a couple towns up where sometimes on a clear day you can see all of the buildings, and sometimes on a not so clear day you can't see any of them.
Yeah.
But there's never a time in which
Well, you're saying
don't
that you
really-
can never see more or less of the bottom. So you're on the one place on
Correct.
Earth where the atmospheric conditions don't attenuate light at the bottom greater than other days because the horizon moves
not
up
as
and
not
down.
not
The
as
hori-
much
well,
of a
that-
severity
can
as
we
when
define
I'm taking
horizon?
the boat out into the ocean.
Yeah.
Can we
yeah.
define
And
horizon
where
here?
the sky,
Yeah,
it's where the sky appears to meet the ground.
Okay, so it's entirely
The
based.
actual
So
definition.
we're in agreement that it's entirely based upon your perspective. There's no physical horizon. It's not a
Yeah, but in the
an
globe
object.
there is a real physical one there. It's just that we never see it because there's an atmosphere.
Well,
The globe, there's a real curve of the Earth called the
Look at his
geometric
face.
horizon
Yeah.
that's like actually physically blocking things in the distance, right?
sure.
So we see the apparent horizon, but there's a real one there. We can just never see it. because there's always an atmosphere, is the claim. Of course, at first we were all told that we can know that the Earth is curving because we can look out and we know that, you know, the curve of the Earth is blocking things, and we can see the curve just by. But then they changed it in around 2017 when we found things from way too far away to, well, no, we never see the actual geometric horizon. Just trust me, it's there.
All right. Then,
And
then I think, you know, we got 15 minutes left. I want to come back to this last thing, which is really what I've been trying to get to the bottom of, because I have yet to have somebody just say it, which is, you're saying they changed it. You're saying they're hiding it. They're faking it. Who in this instance, because we're talking about, again, 2,500 years here, where, I mean, again, after 200 BC, in a very long time. Now the question is, why? It's not because a government came and told them so. In fact, on numerous occasions, governments tried to shove these people down. I mean, if we look at the church did it to Galileo.
Galileo, that's a whole thing. You should research. He did heliocentrism on his deathbed.
Oh my God, I never said he was heliocentric. I said the man believed the Earth was a globe.
And the church didn't care that he believed it was a globe. They did nothing to him over the globe. Literally nothing.
I am aware of that. I'm aware of that.
Well, then why'd you say that they tried to stop the globe?
My point was that in the ongoing march of science on this subject, there have been battles at every step of the way. Heliocentrism was just an evolution of a globe Earth. It was yet another one. There are questions I could have asked here that people told me to ask. I tried to do this in good faith. I could have asked you what the moon is and how eclipses happen, because I know you can't answer that question. I've watched you avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't explain how eclipses happen, you can't tell me I'm
that
wrong.
Was created for you. That it isn't impressive to tout that you believe current consensus, that I understand better than you, but since you think consensus agrees with you,
it's not that I think consensus agrees with me. It's that I went and did the math myself.
I'm just going to be real with you, man. That isn't impressive, okay?
I'm not trying to be impressive.
What you think the moon is.
Austin, dude, I'm a historian. I'm a historian, and I can grasp this better than you.
You can't, though.
Yes, because you have failed. You have failed. I'm not. So, Austin, this is the other thing that I think is great, is that you people never actually bother to look at who you're talking to.
This is so funny. Awful. Google algorithms are not our friend. It's their fill-in choices, so wrong and intentional. I can officially tell you I'm subscribed, have alerts turned on, I'm a member, and I got 0 alerts for your streams. So weird. Flat Earth did used to be taught. There's a whole city that was run by Flat Earthers. The churches were Flat Earth, the schools were Flat Earth. Like, it's really easy to find. It's Zion City in Chicago. And the guy's name was Voliva. Watch this. Zion City, Voliva. Wilbur Glenn Voliva. I don't know how accurate Sheeplepedia will be about this, but, I mean, it's even here. An American cult leader and flat earth theorist who controlled the town of Zion, Illinois during the early 20th century. And it wasn't just him. There was other people. There's another guy, Dowie. Yeah, John Alexander Dowie was also part of it. They all practiced flat Earth and other views. See, from 1914, Voliva gained nationwide notoriety by his vigorous advocacy of the flat Earth doctrine. He offered a widely publicized $5,000 challenge for anyone to disprove the flat Earth theory. The church schools in Zion taught the flat Earth doctrine. In 1923, Voliva became the first evangelical preacher in the world to own his own radio station, WCBD, which could be heard as far away as Central America. Ha ha ha! That's funny, right? Only works on a flat Earth. His radio station broadcast his diatribes against round Earth theory, astronomy, and the evils of evolution. He was quoted about the sun as follows: "The idea of the sun millions of miles in diameter and 91 million miles away is silly. The sun is only 32 miles and 51 kilometers across, and not more than 3,000 miles from the Earth. It stands to reason it must be so. God made the sun to light the Earth and therefore must have placed it close to the task it was designed to do. What would you think of a man who built a horse in Zion and put the lamp to light it in Kenosha, Wisconsin?" He became increasingly focused on destroying the trinity of evils, modern astronomy, evolution, and higher criticism. What is higher criticism? Oh, higher criticism? a branch of criticism that investigates the origins of ancient texts in order to understand the world behind the texts. I don't know what that is. Insisting on a strict interpretation of 24-hour days for creation and traveling to Dayton, Tennessee to appear as a witness to the Scopes trial, blah, 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 blah. So, there you go. Wilbur Glenn Volova, staunch flat earther. Bible is flat earth. My buddy grew weed in Zion and I'd visit all the time. Somehow never ran into or heard FE. Well, you know, it's not as I think there's a museum though. I want to say that there's like a little Zion. I was looking into this for a while, all into Voliva and his flat earth, you know, his flat earthism. And I think there's actually I think there might be a, what do you call it? Yeah, a little museum there. Like a Town of Zion museum. Oh my gosh, I have all kinds of callers. Sorry, I turned on the phone lines and then I didn't look at them. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B. Tony Coriolis.
Hey, what's up, Tony? How's it going?
Doing good. Just here in the park, you know, holding it down.
Nice.
So, hey, random thing I was thinking about. So, do you have a new Farmer's Almanac for this year?
I do not yet, no.
Okay, well, you know those one pages where it says the best days to do stuff according to the moon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I was just thinking about, you said in a different coffee talk that you were having, like, no results trying to plant certain trees around you, or fruit trees or something. Do you remember that?
Not vaguely. I
Yeah,
mean,
no
I do
problem.
I have some peach
but
trees, but yeah, they just don't do very well. Although there's tons of peaches on them now.
Maybe it was tobacco you were talking about or something, but you said you were having trouble growing something, and I just wanted to say, when I was out in Italy, like the last place that we went was Sorrento, Italy, that's close to like the Amalfi Coast, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we toured like this one like farm, and they had like a whole field of like lemon trees, and it looked really cool. But I was surprised to find out they graft all their trees, like, because only the blood orange trees grow there, then they have to graft them all to be lemon trees. And it was a beautiful field of lemon trees. But yeah, they had to graft all of them. If they just straight planted a lemon tree, it would not work.
Yeah, I've heard that about fruit trees. A lot of them are grafted. I don't know why that is.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither. But even in those pages where it says the best days to do stuff according to the moon, it says the best days to graft. So the best days already passed for this month. So now next month it says the 7th through the 9th are the best days to graft a tree, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It says graft or pollinate is what it says. And I just looked at, because it's in the same book, like where the new moon is. So the new moon comes next month on the 6th. And then on the 7th to 9th, so right after the new moon, they say that's a good time to graft or pollinate, you know, plants. I just found that interesting and wanted to talk it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I should pay more attention to that.
Yeah, totally. And you know, just feel free, if you do end up grafting any tree or anything, I'll be listening. I'm hoping that you end up getting a fruitful tree off of this, you know, talk right here.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Tony.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, not much. I'm just getting weeds out of a hillside, so I'll go. That's really all I had. I'm sure I thought of some other stuff, but can't remember now. Thank you, Karen B.
All right, take care.
All right, peace.
grafted to optimal root stock. Italy will deport you for putting pineapple on pizza. That's funny. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Oh, hi, Karen B. It's Jan in Dallas.
Hi, Jan.
I'm just calling. Hi, I'm just calling in to only to listen. Did my name come through in my number?
Yes, it did.
Oh, good. Okay, so when you see that, you'll know I'm just listening.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay?
Okay, I'll put you back on hold.
Bye. Okie doke.
Sure is nice to hear your voice, though, Jan, even if it's just for a second. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hi, Karen. It's Ross the Bear.
What's up, Rasta Bear?
I'm just getting ready for the day, getting on my tools on my truck to go do some landscaping stuff. I've been just staying busy this time of year. I've been dealing with a hurt back too, like Ted. Since last Friday, my back went out on me like I was picking up a bag of yard debris, and all of a sudden I just felt it in my lower back. It just dropped out.
Oh, no.
And yes, it's been, it's interesting that Ted, it seemed to happen at a similar time.
Yeah?
Because right before that too, I'd been thinking about Ted because I DJ'd this PDX reggae, and I sang at it too. It was like a big reggae festival in Portland, and I got to sing alongside one of my favorite artists, Alcyon Massive, and whatnot. But I was on my feet so much during the weekend, and from working and stuff too, that I injured my left foot. It got all swollen up, and I was just gimping around, and so it reminded me of Ted with his foot. And then I don't know if it's from the added stress of me walking funny from my foot being all jacked up to putting like different strain on different muscles in my back that made it go out. But I'd had back problems before years ago. They wanted to actually do surgery on me because I'd gotten rear-ended in a car accident and had to do like chiropractic and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I know how back problems can be. I feel for Ted right now. I know I'm thankful that he has you and other people looking out for him, because I know it's rough when your back is hurting. This
It's like
time
the worst.
through, I haven't had any. What's that?
I said, yeah, it's the worst.
What were you saying?
I just said back
Yeah.
problems are the worst because everything, all your body parts are attached to your back.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you need your back to stand up, or even like to just bend over to do anything. Like you take it for granted how much you use your back until it goes out on you, and then you're like, dang, it's really an important part of your body.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this time through, I haven't had the grace or the capability to rest it. So I mean, because I've got such a busy schedule right now with landscaping, like I've had to just power through with my foot and my back, and it's been interesting to navigate because I should be like laying out for like a couple weeks or even a month to let it heal, but like the approach I'm taking this time is actually the opposite, and it's just kind of just like trying not to even acknowledge that I have pain, more like mind over matter. And I just, once I get it warmed up, and cannabis medication really helps too, like some good indica.
Well, what about what about stretching? Do you do back stretches or yoga or anything?
Yeah, I'm very into yoga and all the stretching for sure. Like you can't stretch enough, and it's very important. Before I injured myself, I'd been getting up at like 5 or 6 every morning and going on a run, and that bugs me too, because I love the exercise, and so it's really, it's frustrating when you get on a good routine and then you have to get out of that routine because of an injury. It'd be frustrating, but it's important to heal up properly and whatnot. So, but I just wanted to, shout out and let Ted know I'm going through a similar thing, and I feel for you guys, and I appreciate what y'all are doing. I saw your post this morning on Facebook about the jet fuel hoaxers, and so I just wanted to discuss that for a minute, because I am I don't know, like whatever you're implying there, I am a said jet fuel hoaxer. As
just a joke.
As I have, I've extensively looked into this subject, and it's one that fascinates me more than almost any other topic in this realm is jet fuel. I think it's just one of the most.
Why though?
Because of the fact that the weight. Like if you take physics and you take the amount of weight that these planes allegedly have in them with all this fuel, or the amount of time it takes to fuel these planes, it makes absolutely no sense. There's no way that could ever possibly be a reality.
Well, I don't know if you've heard Mark Sargent and I discuss this on Strange World. We've brought up articles too where they talk about how they can't really explain what makes a plane fly. They really can't explain it. Like at the core of it, it can't be explained.
How a cell phone, that's how a cell phone works.
But that doesn't mean that they're not using fuel.
No,
it's more about the lift. It's about how they get the lift.
I'm not saying they use zero amount of fuel. I think that they do use a tiny amount of fuel to get the plane to take off and then get up to like the cruising altitude. And then I think that they're powered off of the ether, as there's some electrical current that is powering not only those, but also the satellites. Okay. But, also, satellites and whatever else, I think that there's a free-flowing energy current up there that once that they get up to a certain elevation that they tap into. And those turbine engines, once they get to flowing, they just continually flow on that.
And they can just fly forever and ever and ever until they decide they don't want to anymore, and no plane ever crashes due to loss of fuel.
No. And I think it's just like NASA, it's a massive embezzlement scheme. If they say they can charge that much for all this fuel, think about the profits that they're making. It's astronomical. Just in one day, the amount of profits that they're making off of all this imaginary amount of fuel that they say is going into these planes, when it's not. It's like, it makes a lot of sense. There's a whole reasoning and a motive behind them carrying out this lie, because the amount of fuel that they say goes into these planes versus just the amount of fuel that these tankers bring to our country from foreign lands, and the processing of it and how long it takes to process the fuel, it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, it's all like I said, it's kind of like how cell phones work. We just take into consideration that they can put videos on our thing. We can have all these apps, and it's really just a scrying mirror, like in magic. It's like something that's just a mirror, a black mirror, and because we accept that there's things happening in it, we accept that entire reality. Because I'm in a belief that we're in some type of a really intricate simulation that has a creator. We're soul consciousness inside of that simulation. However, the things that go on and occur in the simulation are a program, and we accept those programs because it taps into all of our consciousness. Once enough people accept it into our consciousness, then that makes it a reality.
Okay.
So, but that's my take, and I just, like, I understand, like, especially Ted is on the opposite end of the fence with the jet fuel, and I can't understand why, he's so passionate about the opposite end of the spectrum when there's so much more proof and profound evidence to contradict
proof,
that
though?
there's jet fuel going on.
What proof? It's all
What proof?
anecdotal.
I mean,
Everything that everybody uses for this is just
look at an
anecdotal.
eagle.
Huh?
Can an eagle pick up a cougar off the ground and fly with it? Because if it can't, then an airplane can't pick up all this jet fuel plus all these packages and
Well, an
everything
eagle
else.
doesn't have
The
jet engines, for one
passengers.
thing. It's not a
But it has
combustion
a
engine.
similar type of proportion. It has a similar type of propulsion, though. It's
So you're saying
I
an
mean-
eagle has similar propulsion to a jet engine?
probably even more powerful propulsion based on the size of its, the wingspan and the amount of power that it possesses to be able to just tap into the, the air currents and just hover around up there. They're massive birds. I mean, they're huge. And if you filled them with water in their wings, they wouldn't be able to fly like that. It'd be impossible. And same with these airplanes. Like you can look at some of the, and there's no tanks in these wings, especially not the size of tanks that they say that there would be in order for them to hold that much fuel.
Which
It's
airplane?
impossible.
Which plane are you talking about, though?
I'm talking about any of like the 747s or like even a few smaller sizes than that, but any of the larger planes for sure, like the jet airliners.
So you don't think that they have fuel tanks in them at all?
I don't think that they have they probably have small fuel tanks, but not near the size that they say. And you look at the weight distribution of these tanks as well. They would have to be so precise in order for like the balance and the equilibrium not to be thrown off as it's flying through the air.
Well, they don't have just one big tank. It's all sectioned off so that it's balanced. They have a ballast system for the fuel.
Right, but I don't think that those tanks are near what they say they are. If they're not nearly as capacity as they say they are, and also like the amount of time it takes to fuel a jetliner. When they say that it holds that much fuel, they're fueling from downward up, which is the opposite of how they fuel at gas stations or things like that. So
Well,
they're
they
going
have pump
against
trucks.
like the.
They have pump trucks. Haven't you seen the pump trucks? I've watched the pump trucks. 1111. The pump trucks pump.
I have seen the pump trucks, and
Okay.
like what if those pump trucks are just filling the planes with compressed air?
But
Like, what
first
if
they
that's
hook up
what
to
those
the
pump
tank in the
trucks are
ground. Well, when I watched it, there's a hole in the ground that says jet fuel A, and then they open this little thing, and then they hook the hose up to this thing that's under the ground, and then they hook the other end of the hose up to the plane, and then they just sit there for a while, and then when they're done, they unhook everything, and then they go.
Right. But what if like the underneath where it says jet fuel A? What if that's all just compressed air down there, and they've got it just so compressed that
Well,
when it
so where
flies
does the
through
plane
their-
hold the
their little
compressed
pump-
air? Think about what you need to hold compressed
where
air,
the
though.
tanks would be.
You would need to have huge
would-
tanks that have compressed air. And then when you compress the air, what happens to the air? It turns into a liquid, right? It's like whenever you're like a scuba diver. Is that what you're talking about? Like scuba tanks, but for airplanes?
Similar, yeah. Yeah, maybe they've got some type of, process down where they've got the air compressed. Or like I say, maybe it's just run on our imagination. Who really knows? I just know that there's not fuel, especially the amount of fuel that they say there is in those planes, because it's too much weight. I mean, that's like putting 16 elephants on each of the wings and trying to take off with elephants on your wings. It makes zero sense. Like the weight distribution. I mean, I'm a professional mover. I load giant semi trucks, U-Haul trucks. That's just one of my jobs I do. But like I've done that so much where I know how weight distribution works. I know that like if you load a truck wrong, if you put a piano on the wheel well of one side and then just a bunch of light boxes on the other wheel well, and that truck hits any type of area where it could flip over if you don't do it right. And that's the same with all this weight on these wings. I mean, you see these planes taking off all the time. It's like, how do they do that with that much weight? With those tiny ass little fans on the side of the wings, like those that like if you subscribe to the Mandela effect, then you believe that the engines have already been pushed out to the point where they're like hovering in front of the wings now, as opposed to being right underneath them.
Okay.
But that's my take on it. I'm very passionate, like I say, about this subject. I've looked into it. I've spent a lot of time just not even just looking into it, but just like using common sense, kind of like with how flat Earth works.
Common sense, okay.
Where it's like you can use your own deductive reasoning, your own logic, and your own two eyes to tell yourself and your senses what makes sense. Does it make sense that they say that there's all those elephants worth of weight in those wings? Does that make any sense whatsoever? It's just like how they say that there's people in the ISS right now. Does that make any sense? Have we ever seen them construct the ISS?
Well, see, but now now that's a false equivalence, though, because none of us can go inspect the ISS. None of us can go book a ticket and go fly on the ISS, but we can all go to airports. We can all get on a plane. We can go observe the process. And in fact, lots of pilots. Haven't you seen that video where there's like 2.5 hours of pilots saying that the Earth is flat? How come none of them are all, hey, by the way, did you know jets don't use fuel? None of them say that.
Well, that's because they don't. It's compartmentalized. It's like NASA.
No.
Just
The
like
pilot needs to know. Like, if go watch some SOS plane videos, like when they have stuff go on and they'll replay the recordings of the pilot talking to aircraft control, and they go, Mayday, Mayday, whatever, we're having a problem, and then the air traffic control comes back and says how much fuel and how many souls on board. Because maybe that information is important.
Or is compressed air. What if it does have a gauge that reads out just like a fuel tank, but it's not actually fuel that's on the plane? It's it could be even some type of other gas. That's like some type of other compressed air type thing. Like CO2 or.
Oof, I don't know.
That. Once you open your mind to like the possibility of what if, and don't just close out the possibility. Because,
but here's the thing, though. Initially, when I heard about the jet fuel hoax, like a few years ago, I didn't just shut it down right away. I actually watched videos. I listened to what people were saying about it, and then I spent a little bit of time going and investigating it myself, and it took me an afternoon to figure out that there was nothing there. It was a big nothing burger. But people were being speculative, they were making suggestive videos. That's it.
Then how did I not come to that conclusion?
I don't know. I don't know what you looked at. You're the one who thinks we can fly the planes with our imagination, so I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's more to think about with it, as opposed to just thinking that, you've made your mind up about it. Sorry, I'm on the freeway right now. I had to fix a bag in the back of my truck, almost flew out. But yeah, like, it's just once you think deeper into it, like, obviously there's a lot of people trying to throw shade on the subject, just like with anything. Like, you could watch a couple of videos and be like, okay, I've seen some schematics and some documents, and now case is closed. But I mean, same, that there's plenty of videos and stuff like that on, like, NASA and the globe and everything else. I mean, obviously, if this is something that's real, they're going to put a, concentrated effort on trying to, stop the truth from coming out, because they rely on us buying the illusion in order for this matrix to work. Because that's basically how this works. And that's why the matrix is fading right now. And the whole system is collapsing in a sense, and we're evolving into a higher dimension, a higher consciousness of consciousness, because the matrix can't continue to exist because of what we're doing as a truth community, and exposing the lies, not only of the globe, but how the world control grid works, with all the the cabal that is controls everything in this world. And all that is coming to light to a point where people can no longer be ignorant about it. And so it's causing an evolution of our whole consciousness.
All right.
But yeah, like I say, the jet fuel is a huge part of it, along with the flat Earth, along with every other topic. They're all very relevant in topics. They're all part of exposing the matrix that we're in. And that's a major part of getting out of the matrix, is, being able to pinpoint the constructs of the matrix, the functionality of the matrix, and what exactly the matrix is, so that, we can identify the problem, and then we can figure out how to not only, eliminate the problem or exit the problem, or if, we might not even have the opportunity to do that, but we can also, start to manifest and, be able to mold the matrix in a way that is favorable to us, and that's what a lot of us have already been able to figure out how to do, is to let the matrix work in our favor, through manifestation and through positive intent, and, through being positive and really, tapping into the message of the gospel of Christ and the Christ consciousness. Like everything he said was, straight star seed, higher elevated master, just coming to share some knowledge on how to live a good life that's stress free and drama free, and full of love and caring, and being neighborly, and doing miraculous things. Because we all have the ability to perform miracles, be miraculous. So,
all right,
but
Rasta
anyways,
Bear.
I'll let you go. I appreciate you letting me talk about this subject. I love you and Ted a lot, and I appreciate your guys' perspective on it too. Like, that's one thing I love about the authentic truth community, is that there's open conversation for everybody's perspective. Because that's what's important.
All right. Well, I hope your back gets better. All right. Don't ignore it too much. Take care of yourself.
Oh, thank you. Same with Ted. I'll keep you guys in my prayers, and I hope he gets back to full-on Ted here real soon too. So.
All right.
Well, have a great rest of the day. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Love you all. And have a blessed day.
All right. Take care. Woo, doggy. You know, when he said that, reminded me of this. Guys, you guys remember this? Do you remember this? So as always. I have a question for Jerry. Jerry, what are the bricks made out of?
Where did they originally get the bricks? We probably imagined them.
Who imagined them?
We did. We're in our mind, having a collective experience. Like in the same way you wake up from a dream in the morning, you realize you were in your mind, right? When you wake up and you go, wow.
So you think all of the bricks that are now melted buildings in this realm that we collectively share an experience in were made up in our mind that we're having an experience right now? Like,
yes.
Why does anybody believe a word, anything this man says? Can somebody please tell me why? Does anybody believe? Remember that? Yeah, that's what that reminds me of. That's what's up. All right, so anyway, I just had to play that little clip real quick. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hi.
Well, hello. Hi.
I know. My back is doing okay right now. So thanks everybody for the kind words, and hope that Rasta Bear's back heals as well. But I'm gonna have to completely and wholeheartedly disagree with what he just said there for the last 5 to 10 minutes. That was painful. I'm trying to figure out a good angle of attack on this, but if anyone is familiar with aviation, transportation of humans, the commercial aspect of it, it's a business. Planes don't make money when they're on the ground. That's why they always have their techs and whatnot working on it, checking on it daily after every flight. Pilots performing pre-flight checks, post-flight. They're always doing a checklist from before they even start the APUs, before they start the engine, before pushback, before they even taxi, all that stuff. There's checklists every so often. It's a freaking litany of bullshit. So people think that pilots are dumb. They're completely misled. But since the removal of the flight engineer, which usually was the third person in the cockpit, it's now being replaced with a flight computer. That flight computer tells the flight crew what's going on, the quantities of fuel that are currently on board, so that the pilot can look at their flight sheet here and see okay, how much fuel do I need? XYZ. I need for the trip. I need for contingency in case there's bad weather and they have to avoid it. Diversion fuel, which will be for the next diversion airport in case weather is so horrific or they encounter a technical mechanical issue along the route. And then they have their emergency reserves for in case they need to do several go-arounds or something, bad landing weather, crosswinds, shit like that. But fuel is primarily in the wings, and that would be also, and some, depending on the aircraft, might be also in a center tank, for weight distribution. They put the weight basically right dead center in the middle. But, with some variants of different aircraft, they also, I've learned, recently, was why do you see sometimes you hear about planes tilting back on their tails when they're parked? It's because of improper loading or unloading, and then the weight balance gets misshifted and they slam on their fucking tails. But they have a jack stand type of thing that the ramp crew will put up to stabilize the plane and everything like that. But this whole idea that planes can't fit the fuel on, it's people would have to look at their typical plane of choice, which is commonly flown domestically, at least in the U.S., and I'm sure as well as in Europe and other countries, but that'd be the Boeing 737 and all its variants, or anything from the Airbus A320 variant, small single-aisle twin-engine aircraft. They hold about 6,000 gallons of fuel. Their wingspan's only roughly about 100 or so, like 100, 110 feet long, wingtip to wingtip. Then you got to think about the center fuselage tank. How big is that? Well, that's 6 abreast. Essentially, I think as humans trying to put it in perspective, with half circle kind of a thing. The fuel can fit. There's a volume in tank calculator that I've used to help squash any potential discrepancies of like, oh, it's this amount or that amount. I'm like, the aircraft manufacturers have their CAD designs. They have all that printed out so that the people who design the engines for said aircraft know that the said engine aircraft combination with set amount of passengers or cargo can go XYZ distance. Of course, there's various things that can alter that distance, overall weight, winds, blah, 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 blah. But they have a general good idea of why, aircraft fly fly at least so far distance-wise. Another reason why they also fly, straight lines. But you are not going to see planes just magically just turn off their engines and harness ethereal propulsion systems of bullshit because, again, pilots have to follow these checklists and see what fuel burn is going on currently. They have their gauges, their display that shows them, they have set amount of pounds and see where it's supposed to be in line with what their flight sheet has told them that they, at this checkpoint they'll be here, or the next waypoint they'll be at, this level or whatever. It's like everything is well calculated many times over. It's like there's a lot of precision that goes into all this. But, humans do fuck up from time to time. That's why there are instances where planes have fallen from the sky. Like the one I always like to refer to is the Gimli glider incident, which happened in, I believe it was 83 or 84. It's, 83. Air Canada Flight 143. But the fueler thought that the flight crew said 22,000 pounds instead of 22,000 kilos. And why that got discrepancy was because it was right at the time when Canada was going into the metric system. So there's people weren't sure of what. So that's why the plane flew with like 40% of what it had. It was supposed to have for the flight, and that's why it ended up making an emergency landing in an abandoned military base, which was used as a drag strip. But then there's other issues. Planes don't fly forever. They don't harness no ethereal energy. And if there's no fuel, planes come crashing down. Very simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, there's my rant.
All right. Thank you. And also, Ted and I are planning to make a proper jet fuel hoax debunk video, right, Ted?
Yes, we are.
Ted's going to be spending some time on that.
100%. But
you could work on it now.
Keep me on. Right?
Anyway.
Oh, but yeah, it's like people say, "Oh, the fuel can't fit. The wings are too thin." I'm like, yeah, the wings are thin relative to the size of the fuselage, sure, because aerodynamic drag. Everything is gonna, weight is the enemy. So there's that. But they talk about fuel sloshing. They are, like you say, the tanks are divided. I don't think they're like 100% like separated like within the inside, because I know there are pumps that do keep things moving about so that fuel is stationary. But people don't think about the pressure of the fact that the wings are hermetically sealed. So that's why air doesn't get in there. But they do have nitrogen generators for the aircraft to prevent sparking in the tanks. Because people always fear, like, how could you have all these thousands of gallons in here and no fires bursting out like crazy? Like, that's why. Nitrogen's an inert gas.
Oh, yeah, because
it
they fill it.
The fuel from sparking.
Yeah, fill it with an inert gas. Yes.
Totally.
People, see, most people are not involved in these processes, so they don't even know what goes into it. They don't even know how many things. Like, I used to live, actually, now that I think about it, when I lived in Sacramento, I lived in Folsom, and right there was JPL, and I used to hear them testing jet engines, and they would blow them fuckers up. Why? Because they're testing it. They're trying to figure out what they need to do.
I know. Where's the weak link?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know. There's a lot of things people are like, have questions for me. I'm willing to answer any and all people's questions, but the thing is, people are just like, they put the weird freaking memes, and I'm tired of seeing Mr. Bean in front of an A380 when you have inaccurately sized tankers on the wings of an A380.
Nothing to scale.
Or like, the
or like that one guy who replied to your comment and he posts that stupid Concorde picture with the dudes like, and clearly it's not. They're not even right. You know, they're not at the same depth of field as the plane. So I asked the guy, I'm like, how tall are those humans and how far are they standing from the plane? And he replies and he says, there's 2 people under the plane. Like, come on.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but you know, it's become the ultra crepidarian shuffle here with it's like, I don't know about this, so that means it's deception until proven otherwise, or something like that. And now, it's just going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go continue to put some ice on my back and heal up now.
All right, thanks, Ted.
No problem. Bye-bye.
You know, you have 0 proof, but you guys don't have any proof. You guys are all about speculation. You don't provide aircraft model numbers, specific tank sizes, or anything like that. You don't show any technical drawings. You don't have any blueprints. You don't have anything. Nothing but speculation about what is happening there. Really, literally nothing. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of people who are flat earthers who work on aircraft, and they all say that you guys are tripping. We've got people that are on Facebook who literally work on airplanes or who fuel these planes up, and they are saying that you are wrong. Not one jet pilot, not one mechanic. Show me a mechanic. Somebody, get me somebody who works intimately with these jets, who will come forward and explain specifically in detail how they don't use that as much fuel as they're told and what is used in place of the fuel and whether it's compressed air. Show me a mechanic or a pilot or somebody. And none of you are those things. You're all just a bunch of shit talkers online. That's what you are. You're a bunch of, shitty meme sharers and shit talkers. Seriously, I love you guys, but you guys don't have anything. No, right here. And what we're talking about, the Gimli glider, because there was a miscommunication in how much fuel to put in the plane. This plane ran out of fuel and it fell out of the sky. It didn't harness energy from the ether and just keep going until they made a safe landing. So, you guys... I mean, really, I shouldn't even be giving it any attention. The smart thing to do would be to not give this any attention. This is a tuning fork, Dr. Pryostein. It's a tuning fork. It's a sonic slider tuning fork. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B. Dennis, you're muted.
Yes, I was. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
Yep. Yeah, first time I made that mistake. I got it out of the way, though. I can't talk very long, but right now how do you say? I'm going to mechanic school also, not aviation mechanic, but it looks like it's going to be gasoline, for regular cars and trucks as opposed to diesel. Because down here in Louisiana, that's the program that I got. I can work at a dealership and get an associate's degree out of it. But I don't have all the tools yet, so I decided to delay for 1 year. And my GI Bill would still pay for it all if I started next year. It's got an expiration date, 2027, but I can still finish the whole program by then. But I'm going to get I took just an easy job doing security at the Port of New Orleans. So, where the ships come in, it's just 40 hours a week. So that's actually what I'm doing right now. So it's it's a piece of cake job that, 4 days a week, 10 hours a day. And that's it. I've been working like driving trucks. I've still got my CDL, but I've been working like 65, 70 hours a week for 10 years. So I'm taking an easy job, but I'm back working, so I'll have money. Anyway, I just had one question. It sounds like, if I may make a analogy, a roughly parallel, and a quick suggestion about this. I tuned in, periodically, but maybe an hour ago or so, you said no questions about Blacktoberfest, or you don't know exactly. You can't say anything definite about that right now.
Right.
And I do know last year in Las Vegas, you did a big one that was far away, and it went down great and awesome. My suggestion is just reiterate something I mentioned last year, around the time of Blacktoberfest last year, and it was just with the idea of, because there's some people that are hardcore. I'm not speaking only for myself, but there's a few of us who will go regardless. But just to keep the ball floating, maybe do something. It's just a suggestion. Do something easy that you're familiar with that won't take a lot of energy. Small scale, just if you want to do something big the following year. Like, for example, the Shriners Club in Greenville did something like an old piece of cake for you. So that's just a suggestion.
I can't use the Shriner Club. I already tried. They're all booked up, and they have they have new owners, and they remodeled and everything. And I was not able.
Oh man.
Yeah. I was not able to get time at the Shrine Club. I tried.
Got it. You beat me to the punch on that one then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, I don't have any other details suggested, but you got the general, the spirit of my suggestion. Do something, if it's reasonably possible, do something low key or whatever. And of course, if there's any way I can help, fine. I'm probably not speaking only for myself. I'm all in.
I know.
But
Thanks,
that's all I got. I don't want to bombard you with questions that you may not know the answer to anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Say hi to Ted for me.
Okay, will do. Thanks, Dennis.
All right. We'll see you. Thanks.
No shine for the shrine. Shout out to Isabella Live 2.0. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hello.
Hi, Cammie.
Can you hear me, Karen B?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Is the sound good or bad?
Good.
I was going to take you off topic if you didn't mind.
Not
just
at
to
all.
a fun area I was looking at. And it's shortened that. But can you bring up on your screen the lyrics to this song, The Logical Song by Supertramp? And I can't see the screen. I'm on my phone, so let me know when it's up.
Okay.
And the reason I'm doing this is one of the people I listen to is Professor of Rock, who does a deep dive into the music and behind the songs, what happens. And this one came up, and I thought it would be really cool to revisit this song and how prescient it really is, ahead of its time, and what he's saying. The story behind the song is Roger Hudgens. He basically grew up very, very wealthy. And at age 8, he got sent to a boarding school, an elite boarding school, for 10 years. And he came out of the boarding school and became a musician with a band and wound up you can go to Professor of Rock for all the details, but he wound up with Supertramp. And this particular song, he fought to get on the album. He wrote it and he fought to get on the album. He had to bet Davies $100 to put it on there, saying, I'll bet you $100 if you put it on the album, it will be a top 10. so that was interesting. It was a little bit different than the Supertramp stuff that was up until then, and it was a fight on it. But if you look at the lyrics of it, it tells the story, and it tells the story. Go ahead and read some of the lyrics of it, Karen, because I can't see. Everybody knows this. You don't need to play.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it in their head, and we sing along with it without thinking.
Yeah.
So in a Karen voice, let's do the lyrics.
Okay. When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful, a miracle. Oh, it was beautiful, magical. All the birds in the trees, well, they'd be singing so happily, oh, joyfully, oh, playfully watching me. But then they sent me away to teach me how to be sensible, logical, or responsible, practical. And then they showed me a world where I could be so dependable, clinical, or intellectual, cynical. There are times when all the world's asleep, the questions run too deep. For such a simple man, won't you please tell me what we've learned? I know it sounds absurd. Please tell me who I am. Want me to keep going?
Keep going. I mean, that's his childhood. And I think everybody got exactly what happened. He was a child, that he was learning, the birds in the trees and everything was there. And then they sent him away to school. Now he's going to even say more to what it did to him.
Okay.
And again, it gets really more profound at the end. All of this we kind of know because that's what we're used to singing along with. But it starts getting where I don't know if we paid attention as much. Now keep going.
I said, watch what you say or they'll be calling you a radical, a liberal, oh, fanatical, a criminal. Oh, won't you sign up your name? We'd like to feel you're acceptable, respectable, oh, presentable, a vegetable. Oh, take it, yeah.
Yeah.
But at night when all the world's asleep, the questions run so deep. For a simple man, won't you please tell me what we've learned? And then it says, tell me who I am. Because I was feeling so logical.
So there.
Digital. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 5. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting unbelievable.
5. Yes, because I'm feeling so digital. They've taught me everything digital. I'm feeling so logical. 1, 2, 3, 5. It doesn't make sense. It's getting so unbelievable. He's looking at everything they're saying. It's so unbelievable. What they're teaching him, what the logics are so unbelievable. They're not teaching anything. They're distracting with he couldn't connect it. I mean, do you even remember I don't remember the vegetable in that context. They're turning us into vegetables. This is what they want.
Probably with pharmaceuticals.
Watch what you say. They'll be calling you radical, a liberal. He's saying exactly. I don't know, just your thoughts. But this was just a fun into the words and saying exactly. It's become so digital and it doesn't make sense. What he did do is after you wonder what happened to Supertramp after they were big and disappeared. He wrote some other songs and he put the jokes in it and what a joke it was about. What society was. If you go back to some of the lyrics he had, it was gay, where you have feel no shame, feel no sorrow, feel no pain. Goodbye. Again, he made jokes of it. He stepped away from the music, got married, and raised his family away from all of the stuff. He used the royalties and that to raise it and actually be there. He wasn't with his parents. He didn't grow up at home. He basically threw it all away so he could have reality. So I thought that was pretty cool. He kissed off, and if you listen to the lyrics of a lot of the Supertramps where he got in there, a lot of it was just to kiss off on elitism. But that was all. It was just a different glimpse going in a different direction, and I thought it was fun.
Yeah, and you know what's
Or at
interesting
least that's
too?
how I saw it. That's how I saw the song.
Yeah, but it's also interesting
Pardon?
that this is from the Supertramp album that Mark Devlin likes to point out because it has it's called Breakfast in America, and then it has the 2 towers there, and the waitress's little glass of orange juice is right there lined up with the 2 towers, and if you flip it, it looks like it says 9/11. You know what I mean?
I think there is some in there. Again, I think he grew up elite thing, and a lot of the lyrics in there and what he did in a lot of the lyrics was pointing out what they're doing with the Breakfast in America. And she's again, if you take a look at my girlfriend, she's not much, but all she's got out, I want to look for the girls in America. He's being satire and saying it's all a joke. He actually says it's a joke in the lyrics. This was his kiss-off song to him. So Mark Devlin, I think, I don't know where he's looked into it. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I'm saying that Rogers Hudgens, he also wrote the joke into the lyrics on the kiss-off. I mean, he'll in several of the songs saying it's all a big joke on you. It's definitely, again, it's an interesting deep dive to go into it. But yeah, he flat out says, I was elite. I was sent away for 10 years in the highest level of boarding schools. And he did actually tell his world to fuck off and live by a different world. So I have some respect, but what he was writing into it even before, and some of the music before, there's, again, a lot of, he's now being recognized as a composition and a lyrical genius. Again, it just kind of got blown off and people going back. Now, if you look at like the Logical song, you'll see that the song is perfectly note for note orchestrated. None of it was played in the way he layered it, even as much as putting in, capturing the modern times, that there's a sound effect in the background that sounds like, not a Game Boy, but the one that they used to, the handheld Nintendos that they'd play the little football games on. Mm-hmm. They actually are capturing that sound in the background and things, and layering into it. But again, there's a lot of layers we don't see and that are put in there, but I thought that was an interesting one out there right in your face. Again, maybe he put it out there because they have to tell the truth. But he did step away from it all. Mm-hmm. But just, fun things to think about. Yeah. But the digital, and it doesn't all make sense. Yeah. And what would they do if you like to say what you say? Again, it's pretty accurate. So I'll let you go and let you ponder and go on to other things. That was just a fun side trail.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. It's interesting.
All right. Have a great day, Karen.
Thanks, Cammie. You too. It's called Systems Consciousness. Their album cover being 9/11 coded is quite sus, yeah. Illuminati song. Is there more 9/11 stuff on the album? Or is it just... It's interesting. Is buried? JM? Yes, Thunder Chicken, it's all gone. The wallpaper with the cool map is gone. It's been remodeled, new owners. It's just not the same place anymore. So right here, okay. So this is the cover in the correct way, right? So here it's got like a little fake city line that's made with diner objects like cups and condiment things and salt pepper shakers, blah blah blah, right? But it looks like the two towers here, and then of course orange juice. We all know what orange is. And then if you reverse it, it looks like there's a 9 and an 11 behind the two towers here. That's one of the things in that Mark Devlin put in his talk. Actually, but in that song, logic is being referred to as sort of a negative thing, and I don't think it is. I like logic because it helps you figure stuff out. You know, it's like process of elimination. If this, then that. If this, then that. Those are logical deductions, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, of course, there's a time and a place for imagination and wonder and speculation and all that stuff too. But there's other times where it just doesn't. It doesn't work out, right? That's like part of the balance. Coincidence is short for cognitive dissonance. I don't know. Yeah. See, I don't think logic is a bad thing, because if you get too far from logic, then you're like, nothing has to make sense, nothing has to have any sort of order or rule, you know, organization, or like basic set of I don't know, rules. I want to say rules, but I don't know, laws of physics or whatever, like certain things that just are, right? Like this is up and this is down. All right. The sun sets in the west and rises in the east. Everything rotates from east to west. Like there's things that just are, right? So I like that. I like the things that just are, the things that we can depend to always behave the same way or be the same way, or to just be reliably so, always in place. I like this. I think they're saying we're taught illogic, the 1, 2, 3, 5 at the end. You know what's so funny? What I see when I see 1, 2, 3, 5? That's the beginning of the Fibonacci sequence, is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. So even that's not really. So like, watch. See here, Fibonacci sequence. The beginning of the Fibonacci sequence is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. So even that, I'm like, that's what I'm seeing, and and Fibonacci to me is like, that's the golden ratio, right? That's the golden ratio. That's how we get the most common ratio, which is just an approximation for things that happen in nature, how things produce and propagate and grow and are in nature. Dugmar, hey, shout out to Dugmar. Do you know what year this album cover appeared? 79. It says March 1st, 79. 1979. So just a couple years after the Trade Center was finished being built, because I think they started building it in 73? I don't remember, but it was in the 70s. Had 7th row center for that. Yeah. Yeah, 79. So yeah, maybe that is it. They're teaching us illogic. Because at the bottom it says, because I was feeling so illogical and digital. Oh, I see. I was feeling so illogical, digital. 1, 2, 3, 5. Is this like, this last verse is almost like the confusion. It's like up here feeling so logical and digital, and then 1, 2, 3, 5, that's the Fibonacci that's encoded in nature. So is it like at the end, is he like feeling the tug between the nature and the digital? I don't know. I mean, we are certainly going through that sort of tug right now, right? Everything's going digital, but there's still a whole lot of people who are analog. You know, and I love analog stuff. I'm all about staying, you know, close to nature and not getting too far out and too into this futuristic sort of sterilized, matrixy, you know, just boring sort of weird futuristic thing. Like all those, the way they make the future look, where it looks all like bland and monochrome and everything is white and stainless steel or sterile looking. That to me is so boring and so uninviting and so not comfy looking at all. I'd rather be in a nice cabin, a nice little log cabin nestled in the woods where out the window you see some trees and a brook, or, you know, you can step outside and touch some grass. Like, I don't want to be on some weird futuristic spaceship looking whatever skyscraper freaking pod, live in your pod box stack crap. No, thank you. Logic is a masculine trait, possibly. He's Asperger 001235 is different than 1235. Well, it's 011235, but 1235. I mean, I don't know. Homogeneous Disney looking for flawless AI crap. Yeah, neutered future sock. The future is bad, but I heard it ends well. It's funny. Funny 16 Alpha V. Yes, 79. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen. So, you don't want to replace Ted with a robot and go live in a pod?
Not particularly.
The robot's back would probably be okay.
Oh, man. That just sounds awful.
Hey, back on that 9/11 thing with Breakfast in America, did you notice that whole scene, you know, the reversed image, you're looking out of an airliner window at the Twin Towers?
Yeah.
I mean, that can't be a coincidence. And then the title alone, I mean, the whole event happened at breakfast time in America.
Right. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
That is crazy.
It is kind of crazy,
absolutely crazy. That can't all be a coincidence. I don't know what's going on with those predictive programming things, but man, that's a lot.
And then the woman's creepy ass face, like that ain't helping.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, and this is how, you know, a bunch of years before 9/11, and she's all like psychotic, like, get ready for this one.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking at the beginning of the show about the whole Iran thing. All these news articles they immediately take everyone back to that event with the hijab thing. Her hijab was too loose, and they're so mean, and you know, the people are trying to in other words, they're trying to stir up, yeah, we need to go to war with Iran. Mm-hmm. It's constantly that.
Yeah.
But I think that was there was a bunch of stuff wrong with that whole story, and if you look at the video of the event with a woman, it had nothing to do with that. It was a manufactured event. Just like the U.S. was bragging about, yeah, we did the Arab Spring. It was the first time we were able to use social media to get the public so wound up, and then they picked some little event had something to do with some poor guy at a food stand, believe it or not, in one of those countries, and it was just like a flashpoint. But they'd used social media to cause all of that instability in the Arab countries. The U.S. admitted that, and that's what the hijab thing was in Iran. You know, look how evil these people are, and you know, we've got to go help them overthrow again in Iran. And that was making me remember watching a speech by I think before they went into a theocracy, they used to just be a normal country, right? And there was a speech that I think it was called the Shah of Iran before the theocracy. Anyway, he was giving a speech and he was saying, no, we don't, you know, we're not doing a theocracy, even though these globalists are trying to push us into one. You know, let them come over and wear the hijab. He literally said that, and the crowd's like all applauding and laughing. We're the ones that created the theocracy. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like we installed that.
Yeah, and just one last thing on using social media to destabilize countries. We did it to ourselves. You know, our deep state did it to us now in 2020. You know, they created Antifa and taught them all, you know, all the left how to riot and how to isolate people and attack them, etc. And they had their little flashpoint based on lies about George Floyd, who just OD'd in front of everyone. And that's what they used as the flashpoint. And then, you know, the bricks on pallets that were mysteriously showing up in these cities that were rioting.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing that they're trying to stir up in Iran. And now, in the past week, they're doing it to poor Georgia, too, the country of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason the West is doing it to Georgia now is because they had the balls, their government, to say, yeah, all of these NGOs that are responsible for flooding all these countries with foreigners, they use NGOs to do that. And so we're going to make all NGOs in the country of Georgia register as foreign agents, which is not a big deal. That shouldn't be a big deal. You know, we got to make sure these NGOs are legit and they're not trying to destabilize our country. And so what happened? Huge, massive protests got stirred up using social media by the Western powers that be, the globalists. You see how I'm trying to relate these things?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the globalists just keep using social media to stir up the populace into violence and to fight against their government, any government that dares to protect themselves from, you know, being flooded with illegals or, you know, whatever they're trying to do to destabilize the country. Anyway, I know your show's not really about this kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, it's whatever.
That's what I was thinking.
But yeah, I pulled up some cool pictures of Iran before 1970. It looks like it could have been America in the 70s. Like it's just a bunch of normal people walking around. They just look like Iranians.
Yep, we did that. We caused that. Pretty crazy. And the other thing I was reminded of with the fog and the helicopter was a fun little memory I had when I went to in 1988, I went to Australia, and I paid a bunch of money to go on a to be dropped off by helicopter in the middle of a jungle in Queensland and whitewater raft back out of it. But we got trapped by fog. We got stranded by fog, and the helicopter couldn't take off for days because of the fog.
Oh wow.
But that made us, it was pretty cool though, because the people running the expedition said, well, what do you guys think about taking extra days and rafting this other river? And we're all able to do that. And on that other river called the Tully River, that's where I learned all about basalt being hexagons and stair stepping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool. They weren't melted bricks. It was actually basalt, and how but somehow it ends up in perfect hexagons and stair steps.
Yeah.
So I just emailed you a picture. Of that event. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the stair steps, but it's just kind of a fun memory. I ended up finding a dead python in a pool, and I'm holding it up as though I'm being all brave and handling this wild python. But that was all because of being sucked in by fog with a helicopter. Unfortunately, the president of Iran wasn't so fortunate to have a pilot that just waited.
Well, how old were you in this picture?
That was 1988, so I would have been 23.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a super fun trip. It was the first big trip of my life. I've spent most of my life traveling around. I used to be obsessed with travel.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, super fun. I'm not sure if that's basalt there behind me or not. But like I said, in parts...
It could be. It's dark, but I don't know.
Yeah, but various places along the river would be in perfect hexagons.
That's cool. So it had the columnar jointing
Anyway.
going on.
Yeah, literally looked like stair steps.
That's awesome.
All right, that's all I've got. And thank you, Cami. I've never really looked at the lyrics of Logical Song. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, all I got.
All right, cool. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Gem. What did I get? Somebody tipped me on Ko-Fi. I have to figure out who it was. Thank you to somebody who tipped me on Ko-Fi. I can't see who it was yet, but let me see if I can figure it out so I can say thank you.
Because the
Nuba. Thank you. Thank you, Nuba, for the tip. Appreciate that. I think you're watching on Twitch. Another 11. Hello, James Meaden. James, the party is on now. Yeah, so anyway, have you guys been looking at these pictures? These are all pictures of Iran before the, what does it say? Before the revolution. Before the Khomeini supreme leader person came into ruling. Before the Islamic Revolution. So this is Iran in the 60s and 70s. It looked just like America, pretty normal. I mean, pretty much the same styles being worn there. You know, look, women showing their face. Look, they got normal clothing on. This picture right here, I love this picture. These three women with their poofy 70s hairstyles just hanging out. I love this picture. Snow in Iran? See, now I don't associate Iran with a place that gets snow, but I guess it does. I don't really know the topography of Iran very well, I guess. But look at this. I mean, pretty normal stuff going on in Iran. Before this Khomeini guy, supreme leader. Like, who calls themselves supreme leader? Did they have a supreme leader before that guy? Like, what was going on before that guy? Tehran, 1967. Just pretty normal. Here you go. Woman in a pink coat. Men in their suits. '50s. I think this looks like earlier than the 50s. This says 50s, but this looks older than the 50s. We're looking like more like 40s. 30s, 40s time frame here. Oh, look at this. Look at how pretty. With her long hair. Aw. Oh my gosh. Anyway, very fascinating old pictures. Look at this. How cool. Look at her face. Interesting though, huh? I mean, this looks similar to pictures from America. It's just that the features are Iranian features instead of American people or white Europeans or whatever you consider an American to be. I don't know if there's really an American look. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Fascinating. Spaceballs that had a supreme leader. I think from the 70s everything got messed up. Supreme leader for the empire, yeah. Hear your riddle for Globers? I haven't heard your riddle for Globers. What's your riddle for Globers? It was a Shah before this? Was it? I don't know. I know Iran used to be Persia. So when you hear about Persia, that's Iran. Reza Shah ruled for almost 16 years until September 16, 1941, when he was forced to abdicate by the Anglo-Soviet invasion of Iran. He established an authoritarian government that valued nationalism, militarism, secularism, anti-communism, combined with strict censorship and state propaganda. Reza Shah introduced many socio-economic reforms, reorganizing the army, government, administration, and finances. Anglo-Soviet invasion of Iran. Huh? Mohammad Reza Shah. Okay, here's another one. Initially, there were hopes that the post-occupation Iran could become a constitutional monarchy. The new young Shah, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, initially took a very hands-off role in government and allowed parliament to hold a lot of power. Some elections were held in the first shaky years, although they remained mired in corruption. Parliament became chronically unstable, and from 1947 to 1951 period, Iran saw the rise and fall of 6 different prime ministers. Wow. Pahlavi increased his political power by convening the Iran Constituent Assembly in 1949, which finally formed the Senate of Iran. A legislative upper house allowed for the 1906 constitution, but never brought into being. The new senators were largely supportive of Pahlavi as he attended. In 1951, Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh received the vote required from the parliament to nationalize the British-owned oil industry in a solution known as the Abadan Crisis. Occurred from 1951 to 1954 after Iran nationalized the Iranian assets of the BP-controlled Anglo-Iranian Oil Company and expelled Western companies from oil refineries in the city of Abadan. Okay, so that's what the Abadan Crisis, they kicked out Western companies. This is about oil. Nationalizing Mossadegh was briefly removed from power in 1952, but was quickly reappointed by the Shah due to a popular uprising in support of the premier, and he in turn forced the Shah into a brief exile in August 1953 after a failed military coup by Imperial Guard Colonel Nematollah Nasiri. In 1953, U.S.-aided coup removes Mossadegh. Shortly thereafter, on August 19th, a successful coup was headed by retired Army General Fazlollah Zahidi, aided by the United States, of course, the CIA. Oh, the CIA's got their shit all over it, of course. In the active support of the British MI6, known as Operation Ajax and Operation Boot, to the respective agencies. So what does that say these operations are? Brief description. 53 Iranian coup d'etat. Was the U.S. and British instigated Iranian army-led overthrow of the elect Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh in favor of strengthening the monarchical rule of the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, on August 19th of 1953, with one of the significant objectives to protect British oil interests in Iran. Shocking. It was aided by the United States under the name TP Ajax. United Kingdom, Okay, so yeah. NASA was literally founded by literal Nazi. Yes. I think history is a story of not real shit. You guys are funny. Because it's all oil, yeah. Because it's controlling the energy. If you control energy and you control resources, then you can control the people, right? All countries have to purchase oil using U.S. currency, right? Yep. Didn't somebody recently start selling oil, though, in not U.S. currency? Wasn't Russia selling it in rubles? So the Iranian Revolution, also known as the Islamic Revolution, was a revolution that transformed Iran from an absolute monarchy under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi to Islamic Republic under Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, one of the leaders of the revolution and the founder of the Islamic Republic. Its time span can be said to have begun in January 78 with the first major demonstrations and concluded with the approval of the new theocratic constitution, whereby Ayatollah Khomeini became supreme leader of the country in December of 79. So yeah, they just took everything over, huh? In between, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi left the country for exile. In January 79, after strikes and demonstrations paralyzed the country. On February 1st, 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini returned to Tehran. Final collapse of the Pahlavi dynasty occurred shortly after February 11th, when Iran's military declared itself neutral after guerrillas and rebel troops overwhelmed troops loyal to the Shah in armed street fighting. Iran officially became an Islamic Republic on April 1st, 1979, when Iranians overwhelmingly approved a national referendum to make it so. Did they now? And so now they don't have a president because he died. They gotta have an election, I guess. On April 1st, 2024, Israel's airstrike on an Iranian consulate building in the Syrian capital Damascus killed an important senior commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Brigadier General Mohammad Reza Zahidi. In retaliation for the Israel airstrike, Iran attacked Israel with over 300 drones and missiles on April 13th. However, the Iranian attack was mainly intercepted either outside Israel airspace or over the country itself. It was the biggest missile attack in Iranian history, and its first ever direct attack on Israel. It was followed by a retaliatory missile strike by Israel on Isfahan, Iran, April 19th. I don't get it. If they say, if everybody's so afraid of Iran, like they're so powerful and they got nukes and stuff, how come they weren't able to retaliate and do any serious damage to Israel when they retaliated for them killing their general? 300 drones and missiles? They just had some people with minor injuries, but they're minor damage, causing minor damage. They were able to deflect that, but they couldn't deflect the Palestinians on the with parachutes on motorcycles. But they were able to deflect over 300 drone strikes from Iran. I mean, the bullshit that goes on over there. The incredible amount of bullshit. I mean, Rita Pahini's family worked for Shah and they sought asylum in Australia. Didn't we have an Iranian princess living here in America too? Israel is the only one claiming they have nukes and all that. Oh, you wrote your riddle in the chat? Here we go. Okay, I'll try one more time. Riddle for Globers. When is the one time you can own a shitload of something and buy a shitload more and have it measure to be less? This is your riddle. When is the one time you can own a shitload of something and buy a shitload more and have it measure to be less? I'm from Israel, Karen. You know, I think that the Iran attack was just an air show. Probably. They probably are just putting on a show because the one thing I do agree with Mike, whatever health ranger guy on is that they want us to get into a big ass war. They want to create a big war so they can spend ungodly amounts of money on weapons and kill ungodly amounts of people and make themselves richer and make other people poorer and destabilize more countries and and take over and just get closer to their one world government under one rule. I see what's happening. And what sucks is that most of the masses don't see it. They believe all this stuff, that they believe it. You know, they fall for it. They end up trying to fight the fight for these liars, right? Not fun and it feels mean. That's true. A few reasons social media seems stale now. Overstimulation, millions of opinions, short clips, videos. It's overwhelming. Yes, it is. This is why I just don't even look most of the time. Social media networks rewarding quantity over quality to stay afloat. Content creators having to post more than ever. It's not fun and it feels meaningless. You know what? This is what I think happened to a lot of the flat earther people. You're getting rewarding quantity over quality. Posting a bunch of crap and then it's like that gets perpetuated, right? Decades on the internet. Remember how awesome it felt to hear you've got mail on AOL? That dopamine hit is gone. Nothing even feels that cool anymore. I could go on and on, but I think that's a decent summary for now. Yeah, man. This is how I feel about most social media. Actually, being busy with doing extra stuff around, doing like the work around the house and taking care of Ted's actually been quite kind of nice because it's kind of forced me to not look at stuff as much and take a break from all that. We have a lot of pictures of Iran missiles that fell from the sky and no hole in the ground. When is the one time you can own a shitload of something and then buy a shitload more and have it measure less? Is that helium? Does anybody have an answer to Dr. Bass's riddle? I defend the elites only because I think they are fools that think they have to protect us from aliens. Well, I don't think they try to protect us from anything. I think they don't give a shit about us. And that's just the fact. When you own an entire hemisphere and when you buy some adjoining property, now you have more property but a smaller property line. I don't get it. Sounds like crypto. That's funny, Ben. Can be like crypto, that's for sure. In February, Iran violated the Antarctic Treaty of 1959 by claiming property rights in Antarctica. I don't get it. Okay, Dr. Bass, I don't get it. I think I remember hearing about that. Iran claiming, Iran claims land in Antarctica. Did that really happen? Why has Iran claimed Antarctica? Should the world worry? Navy Chief Rear Admiral Shahram Irani said Tehran has property rights in the South Pole where it is planning to build a naval base. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, prohibits nations from constructing military bases, testing weapons, and disposing radioactive waste in the region. Iran has declared that it owns Antarctica. Wow, all of Antarctica? The country's naval chief commander, Rear Admiral Shahram Irani, in September announced that Tehran has property rights in the South Pole. We have planned to raise our flag there and carry out military and scientific work, Irani said. Irani's comments were translated by the Middle East Media Research Institute, a think tank based in Washington, D.C. Iran has also said it's planning to build a naval base at the South Pole, but why is Tehran claiming Antarctica? Is it reason to worry? Let's take a closer look. First, let's take a brief look at Antarctica, the world's southernmost and fifth largest continent. Over time, numerous countries made expeditions to Antarctica and even made territorial claims. However, on December 1st, 1959, is there supposed to be something here? A dozen nations signed the Antarctic Treaty as per Britannica. The treaty, hammered out at a conference in Washington, was signed by Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Britain, Chile, France, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, and the United States, and the Soviet Union. While the treaty did not deal with the claims of territorial sovereignty, it did prohibit nations from constructing military bases, testing weapons, and disposing radioactive waste. The treaty did not have an expiry date, but called for a possible review of its terms in 30 years. The nations, in 1991, signed a protocol to the treaty prohibiting mineral and oil exploration for 5 decades. It also spelled out rules to safeguard the continent's delicate environment. What did Iran say? Our plan is the future to raise the proud flag of Iran in Antarctica, Irani, addressing the 86th flotilla, had said. Irani made the comments during Sacred Defense Week. The diplomat quoted Irani as saying a research team would have to head to Antarctica first. Moreover, in order to build a base, certain things that are necessary for construction must be taken into account, and the most important thing is that we must have constant contact with this base. We are trying to send a group to that region for environmental studies. Today there is this self-belief and, in our opinion, that this capability exists in the country. Iran in September also said it plans to expand its naval presence in the international waters as parts of efforts to boost military and extend its research as far as Antarctica. The comments reflect Iran's aspirations to transform its navy into force capable of sustained operations in the open ocean. They also are seen as a response to America's beefed-up naval deployment near the Islamic Republic's coasts in the Persian Gulf. We have the capability to hoist Iran's flag in different regions from North Poles to the South Pole, and we are preparing plans for a presence near the South Pole. However, we will never enter the maritime borders of others, and we will not allow anybody to enter even a centimeter into our territory waters, for those comments. Those comments came after Sayari said Iran aims to put warships in international waters off the U.S. coast within the next few years. Oh, nice. He also said Iran's navy would be present anywhere in international waters in order to safeguard the Islamic Republic's interest. The Iranian Navy has steadily expanded its international presence since 2008, when it began patrolling the Gulf of Aden to protect commercial vessels owned or leased by Iran against piracy. 2 Iranian warships, for the first time in decades, traveled through the Suez Canal, extending Iran's naval reach to the Mediterranean Sea. Now, some Iranian ships also operate in the northern Indian Ocean. What do experts say? They are concerned. Author of Target Tehran and senior Jerusalem Post military and intelligence analyst. Oh, so Iran's future plans to try to expand its military presence and influence into the Antarctic would not only violate multilateral conventions on the issue, but continues the regime's trend of aggression across the globe. Oh, I'm sure it does. The United States in February killed senior commander Abu Bakr al-Sadi of Kataib Hezbollah, an Iran-backed armed group in Iraq, in a drone strike. Really? The Pentagon linked al-Sadi to an attack that killed 3 U.S. troops in a drone attack near the Jordan-Syria border in January. So what, are they just over there droning each other back and forth, back and forth? Iran claims ownership of Antarctica, 1524. Trying to find the most recent one here. I guess that was it, February 16th. That's the latest. Iran claims ownership over Antarctica. The country's property rights claims in Argentina come as rising global tensions have expanded throughout the Middle East amid the Iran-backed Hamas attack in Israel and numerous attacks by the Iran-aligned Houthis. Yeah, the Houthis are, that's what nobody talks about. Nobody talks about these Houthis. These Houthis are out there pirating ships and blowing stuff up out of the water. And, everybody's like, all right. Like, the Houthis are out there laying the smackdown on people. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. So, in the south of the Arabian Peninsula is Yemen, and that's where these Houthis are from. 9 hours ago, look at this. 9 hours ago, nobody hears about this, right? Houthis hit Panamanian flag tanker with missile off Yemen. Iran-backed Houthi militants on Saturday hit a Panamanian flagged oil tanker off Yemen's Red Sea coast with an anti-ship missile, but the crew was able to restore power and maintain course. The strike was the latest in months of attacks on ships in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden by the Houthis, who seized control of most of Yemen's major population centers in a civil war in opposition of Israel's war in Gaza. Houthis captured tanker transporting oil to China. Here they captured a tanker. Yesterday, on May 18th, Iran-backed Houthis attacked the oil tanker in the Red Sea. Anti-ship ballistic missile. Oh, is this the same one? Impact caused flooding, resulting in the loss of propulsion and steering control. No, this is a different one, because the other one was able to maintain control, right? This one able to restore power and maintain course, right? So this one lost control. The coalition vessel immediately responded to the distress signal sent by the wind, but the assistance was not needed. Oh, here we go. Here, the crew was able to restore movement to their course. So it is the same one. Yemen Houthis say they downed a 30 million US Reaper drone. Again, this is 22 days ago, so check this out. Yemen Houthis say they downed a $30 million US Reaper drone. Yemen-based Houthi rebels said this weekend they shot down a US MQ-9 Reaper drone, which would make it the third US drone that has been down in 6 months as concerns of escalation in the Middle East continue. Part of the U.S. effort to defend ships in the Red Sea from the ongoing Houthi attacks. The Houthis said they took the drone out with surface-to-air missile and released footage of the incident, the Associated Press reported, as part of an ongoing attacks related to the ongoing war Israel-Hamas. So they've taken down $90 million worth of drones in the U.S. Is this another one? What's this one? Houthis claim attacking USS Mason that shot down missile in Red Sea. Yemen Houthi rebels on Wednesday claimed targeting a U.S. Navy destroyer and commercial ship in the Red Sea. However, the attack on the warship apparently happened nearly 2 days earlier and saw the vessel intercept a missile targeting it. The latest statement from the Houthis comes as their attacks on shipping have been disrupting trade through a vital corridor leading to the Suez Canal and the Mediterranean Sea have slowed in recent weeks. Although the rebels have not acknowledged the slowdown, the U.S. military has suggested the airstrikes and interceptions of Houthi fire have disrupted their assaults and chewed into their weapon stockpiles. So they're just like sitting there just shooting at everything that comes through, trying to go through the Suez Canal. Houthi will target all ships heading to Israel, group says. Houthi rebels are going to keep lobbing missiles at ships in the Red Sea for some time. Houthis are also indigenously producing lots of drones and other weaponry inside Yemen while continuing to receive assistance from Iran. So there you go. That's what's going on. Things are definitely escalating. Ship comes under attack off coast of Yemen. Claim more ship attacks. Houthis could sever global internet lines by targeting submarine cable, says Yemeni expert. So call it the shaft. I think Islam is a misdirection, but not powerless, like a jab setting up for the right cross of the space ball. Well, it's in that book, right? That Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, and certainly what's weird is that, they talk about all these things about, these religious sort of based wars, like between the Jews and the Arabs and the Christians. It's like, it definitely looks like and having more than just two sides is just introducing more chaos. It gives the ability to add more confusion. So yeah, there's definitely something going on. I mean, I said a while ago that I think that they're trying to America, the country itself, they're trying to destabilize it and bring it down, and then introduce some country in the East as the more dominant power, the world power. Because they got to keep shaking it up, to keep people in line, right? It's all to their to get to their end game. Houthi spy network working for US and Israel and Yemen. I mean, you know, it's just interesting. What's going on here? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Irish government wreaking havoc, right? There's something going on in Ireland too. 90 million in just drones. That's right, because the drones are 30 million bucks a pop. If you live on a dumb globe, that's why it's a riddle for dumb globers. If you own the entire northern hemisphere, the equator would be your property line. If you purchase the next latitude line south of the equator, you'd have more property and a smaller property line. I still don't get it. So the Houthis can get missiles and shit from Iran, but Iran can't get the helicopter parts to maintain their choppers. Yeah, okay. Well, PK, that's a good point. Hey, remember Sean Griffin going on Tuesday's show talking about Lighthouse? Well, back in 2021. Well, yeah, I was looking at that earlier, Caleb. I went to the website and I checked it out. I see they have a beta going. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I hope I'd like to see it be successful. Karen is getting it. Judaism wiped out Christianity and Islam weakened themselves through warfare until the atheist and nihilist can be released. Yeah, man. And then the government can replace themselves as God. Also, the peaches in Campobello are amazing and ripe right now. So tasty. Really? I need to go down to South Carolina and get me a peck of peaches. I need to get me a peck of peaches. I want to make some peach ice cream. And some peach cobbler. Peach cobbler. With peach ice cream. The riddle involves global latitudes. Yeah, I get it. I don't understand it though. Whoosh. Whoosh. The negative is when I'm adjusting my nose ring. Oh god. As a country, we are past producing age. We are an age where you take, not produce, and no business wants to do that. They just make the promises to the young dumb ones. Government letting so many unvetted immigrants in, they tried to install modular homes discreetly to house more immigrants without even letting locals know. Yeek. Peach ice cream is my absolute favorite. Me too. Peaches are my favorite. I love peaches. Love peaches. Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the country, gonna eat me a lot of peaches. Easier riddle. What do you call a midget psychic wanted by the police? Any hot single flat earth girls in Colorado just moved here from California. Yeah. There's lots of flat earthers in Colorado. Yes, Pot USA. Pears are good too. Peaches are my favorite though. That would be a small, medium, at large. Oh my god. That's such a dad joke. Such a dad joke. Hilarious, you guys. Rockfin logged me out. Okay, it's working. Alright, there we go. All Effie girls are hot. That's right, Scott Hunter. Iranians be like, we've had enough, you all. We're leaving over the ice wall. When engines stop, they drop like a rock. Yes, I know, Scott Hunter, he was. Wouldn't compressed air make it heavier too? Yes. When you watch planes being filled, fuel fumes can be seen. They are putting fuel in. I agree. I agree with you guys. Yeah, man. I think that jets do use fuel. The stated amount. Peaches marinated with red wine. Oh my gosh, Chicago artist. See, that must be like an Italian thing or something. I had some peaches and I put balsamic glaze on there, and I think that's super delicious. That like tart, sweet tart. I gave that to Ted. It was like the only thing I ever gave to Ted, and he hated it. He thought it was filthy. He did not like the peaches with the balsamic glaze on there. For me, I love it. I love it. Submarines are fake, no pics of them underwater. Why did life cross the road? Because it was a joke. You can make northern lights. And wait, what? How much does it cost to... The vortex would look cool. The magnetic vortex creates the lights. I think you need more than just magnets. Brie and apricots. Sicilian. Yeah, there you go. And can't the people pumping the fuel smell it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's some people on Facebook, Ted's found them, that where they actually are people who work in airports, fueling aircraft, and they say they put fuel in the planes. None of them are like, nope, I'm just doing it for show. My job is bullshit. I don't do that. Like, none of them say that. How many are these guys driving these fuel trucks around? There's, thousands of airports in the country. So there's got to be thousands of these guys who are allegedly employed to put fuel in the planes. So one of them, somebody somewhere, if they're not using as much fuel as they say, somebody somewhere's got to know something and come forward and be the whistleblower. But none of them ever do. Lots of pilots come out and say the earth is flat, but none of them say that they don't use fuel. None. Not one. Not one. Richard Thompson says, what are you talking about with jets don't use fuel? I built engines with Lockheed Martin for 5 years. They use fuel. Listen, Richard Thompson, I agree with you. I think they use fuel. I understand that the turbine engine is a combustion engine. But there's a lot of people, a lot of flat earthers who think that there's something called the jet fuel hoax and that jets do not use fuel. Well, they use a tiny bit of fuel just to get up in the air. And then they say they run off ether energy or compressed air. I mean, you know, what do you have to say to that? Since you built jet engines for 5 years, you're free to call in if you want, 848-222-2480, and explain why the jet fuel hoax doesn't exist. It would be great. Calling all airport maintenance professionals, airplane maintenance professionals, fuelers, mechanics, whatever. Please help me. Please help me dispel the myth of the jet fuel hoax. Please help me get it so that our people can spend their precious time and brain energy on something that is worthwhile and not this. TF39 for the C5 and CF650 for the KC10 engines. Bob interviewed one and talked about on Globebusters. What did they talk about? Was it the jet fuel or was it something else? Or was it about flat earth? Isn't it common to dump fuel mid-air? Maybe not just something. Yes. Okay, here's what happens. When a plane takes off, they have it fueled up with enough fuel to get to where it's going, right? So they're like, okay, this plane has X amount of passengers on it and it has to go X amount of miles. And so they do the maths and they say, okay, we need to put this much fuel in the plane. So they load the plane with that much fuel. Now, if the plane takes off, and whenever you're going to have the most problems with an airplane, like mechanical issues, is going to be during takeoff or during landing. But once you're up at cruising altitude, you should be good to go, right? So if you experience those mechanical issues during takeoff, your plane is now too heavy. You can't land. They can't land with all that weight, right? The whole thing is that they're expected to burn that fuel off and drop that weight during the duration of the flight so that when they get to their destination, they can safely land. But if they take off loaded with fuel and they have a problem, they have to dump fuel so that they can safely land. Yes, dumping fuel is a thing. They do it all the time. I was in a plane that had to do that when I was flying back from... When I flew back from Balaton, Lake Balaton in 2019, I flew from Budapest to London, and then from London, we were supposed to take a flight from London to New York to go all the way across the ocean. We took off of the London airport, and the plane circled. It must have had some kind of issue. I forget what the issue was, but the plane circled for like 45 minutes, dumping fuel, and then it went back to London airport because they had a problem. They couldn't fly the plane across the ocean. So yes, and I've experienced it. This is, this is why. This is why I don't. What do you guys have to say for this stuff? They burn kerosene. Hey now, every bird is a melted brick. Running on self-propulsion. Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches sounded dangerously close to a country song. It's not though, it's just a poppy rock song. Just look up it's called a band called Presidents of the United States of America, or Pot USA, and it's called Peaches. And you'll see it's just a rock song. It's like a poppy rock song. It's not country. Sorry for being late. Love and respect to everyone in the great FE community. Long live Truth Seekers. Hi, Mark Sargent. I always wait till I hear the double ding in the cabin 10k feet before I truly relax. Yes, I got my box, Mark, with all those crazy ass shirts in it. What am I gonna do with all those crazy ass shirts? And they're extra large. What am I gonna do with those? The box is downstairs in my room. I really don't want to go get it and haul that box all the way up here. But holy shit, Mark. You know, Mark's been getting all those crazy t-shirts from some guy in Vegas. Well, Mark sent me a giant box full of them. And they're... I'm like, what am I gonna do with these shirts? Are you kidding me? They have to dump the fuel on crop fields. By federal law, airplanes are required to carry a certain amount of extra fuel each trip to enable them to fly safely for longer in the case of an emergency at the airport they are flying to. Yeah. Bob talked to a guy that actually pumped fuel at DIA. His job was refueling planes. Is it still up? Seems like a distraction. I feel like it's a distraction too. That's why I try to debunk it. Because I feel like a lot of the stuff that people get caught up on are distractions. And they're big nothing burgers. And they have nothing really behind them. Nothing about them is going to improve your life. Nothing about them is going to set you free. Nothing. They're worthless. Time wasters. Time wasters. Like, I realized early on that's what a lot of trolls were. They were just there to waste your time and just get you caught into a stupid argument that you'll never win. They just want to waste your time because it's time that you can't spend learning something, researching something, contemplating something that actually has value, talking to somebody who wants to know things, or, you know, or learning from somebody else. Maybe you taking time to learn things that can help further your understanding of this realm and where we live. No, they're all time wasters. Time wasters. Especially these guys that want to do 8-hour streams, all these stupid old pictures, and talk nonsense about what they think it was, and what the ancient world was, and Tartaria, and Mudflood, blah blah blah. So much got taken down, yeah. Yeah, you still have, yeah, that's right. You still have, I have to get some of those and I can send them to Mark. He doesn't care, it's yours now. Give them to anyone you want. Who am I gonna give them to? They're all too big for people I know. They're like extra large. Ugly shirts. Some of them are ugly. Like that candy corn one. Oh my god. I have an idea. Actually, I do have an idea of what to use those shirts for. I do have an idea. I'm not going to tell you what it is, though. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to talk to Ted about it later, and we'll see if we can do it. I want a burger with a slice of peach on it. I've never had that before. You know what's really good, though, is there's a dish you can make with chicken and peaches. Oh, chicken and peaches, so good. Sell those shirts. Mudtaria is interesting. Okay, to some people, it's not to me though. Oh, I'll keep the Bigfoot ones. I like, there's a few in there I want to keep. I want to keep all the Bigfoot ones, and they're all too big for me, so I may end up getting out the sewing machine and altering them. And I'm also going to keep the Freeman Fly, Freeman Perspective t-shirt. And then there's a couple I think my son might be interested in. But most of them, no. The storm is coming, mud storm. Oh, Jesus. The Tartats are 100% a previous empire covered up. But okay. I don't think it was covered up because I've already went and you can go in and do searches and find stuff about Tartarians. So it's actually not that covered up. And the other thing is maybe an empire, but it was a localized empire in that area between Russia and China, or whatever, Russia-China area. It wasn't a whole worldwide empire, okay? Like, all the stone buildings that are over here are not Tartarian. Not everything that's made of stone is Tartarian. Fried peach pie with ice cream. Yeah. Mudstorms are a direct response to Taco Bell. Big shirts make great nightgowns. Man, some of them I feel like you could make a dress out of them. They're so big. Actually, I was going to do that with my 3X Flattoberfest shirt that I have. Having things being buried in mud is what it would look like after a plain old flood. Yeah, I agree. Mud happens. Send me any Conference XL shirts. Okay. Not covered up. I found tons of info. Problem is no one is investigating. They are looking at pics and making up stories. And not everyone's BS stories about it or what Google says, yeah. Well, then what do you think's being covered up about it? I don't see it. I just don't see what the there is that's there. What is the there? You know? Is there a there? White Castle produces mud floods. You guys are hilarious. Well, I guess the engine guy doesn't want to call in. That's okay, though. Why would a mainstream story like Marco Polo be rewritten? What is the I don't even remember what the Marco Polo story is. I wish I could see it. There's evidence of advanced tech. What? I have never met anyone that could carve a woman's ass from a block of marble. You? Yeah, there's a modern guy. He carves stuff into marble. He's really famous. He's in Italy. I wish I could see it. There is advanced evidence of advanced tech right there. Where? The mud flood thing does have some weight. The architecture, how so? I never bought the Bigfoot and aliens thing just because of how much they push it in documentaries and movies. Okay, well, I'll tell you this. I grew up in California, and Bigfoot was like the big thing, you know, growing up there, because California and Willow Creek, that's where Bigfoot got its name, so I had much interest in the subject of Bigfoot growing up. I was always fascinated by it. Lived there, went camping in Tahoe Forest many times, never had any encounters or experiences or anything, right? So fast forward to 2011 when I moved to North Carolina, and it was like I was surrounded by them. Every like thing, every behavior, everything that I'd always heard about people experiencing with Bigfoot started happening to me here in North Carolina. Like literally everything. I saw one shaking a tree. I've heard them talking. My mom's heard them talking. Anyway, I have a whole stream that I did about it called the Ultimate Bigfoot Red Pill that me and Brian did, where I talk about all of my experiences. And this is like after I had kind of given up on the whole Bigfoot thing and kind of wrote it off to be something that was nonsense. And I remember a long time ago, there was an interview on some TV show with a man and a woman who were both Bigfoot, they were both Bigfoot witnesses. And the woman says, I saw Bigfoot disappear right before my own eyes. Now, when I watched this, I thought that woman was cracked. I said, this bitch is crazy. She said it disappeared right before her own eyes, right? I thought she was insane. And so did the other guy who was a Bigfoot witness, because he didn't see that. And the guy doing the interview, like they both were like looking at her like she had two heads. They were like, are you crazy, lady? What do you mean you saw it disappear right before your own eyes? So that happens. Fast forward all this other time. So I get to North Carolina in 2011 and I start having all of these interactions with things in the woods. And I moved to the country. I'm surrounded by woods, right? So I start looking back into Bigfoot stuff, and I come across this guy named Dr. Matthew. Oh, I'm having a brain fart of what his name is. But anyway, he's this guy who's like a licensed psychologist, whatever, and he took his family camping. And when they were out camping in the Pacific Northwest wilderness, because the guy's from Oregon, he was up on a ridge looking down at his family, and he said that he saw a Bigfoot walking towards where his family was. And you know, a Bigfoot, a big, hairy, intimidating looking creature, walking towards his family. And he said then it disappeared right before his eyes, and then it reappeared in another spot. Now, when he initially started telling people about his sighting, he left out the disappearing and reappearing part. Well, fast forward, he finally admits that and starts talking to other people, and then other people start talking about how they saw Sasquatch literally appear and disappear right before their eyes. So this is a thing that's called cloaking. And I have witnessed a cloaked Bigfoot with my own eyes in my backyard. Cammy was there with me. I don't care if anybody believes me. I don't care if anybody thinks I'm crazy. I saw what I saw. I experienced what I experienced. It happened many times. Like I have dozens and dozens and dozens of encounters that have happened to me. And at this point, I just won't take anybody's explanation. No, there's just no way. Those things are real. They are. Now, what the thing is that the thing that they do now, a lot of people say there's people that say they've seen gray aliens too before, right? You think those are fake too? I think what it is that they create stories around these because there's too many humans on the plane living their lives, and there's too many, they can't control everything, right? So once in a while, a human is going to see a Bigfoot, or a human is going to see this other creature, and they have to control the narrative around what you're seeing. They make Bigfoot look like big, scary monsters that want to kill you. They make them look, they call it mountain beast, right? Because they want you to be afraid, because if you walk through that fear, right? If there's plenty of people who contact Sasquatches on a regular basis, and they're not violent, they don't try to rip your head off, they don't try to hurt you. In fact, they heal people. There's a lot of people who have experienced healing at the hands of these creatures. So they have to lie. They have to make you afraid. They have to make you think that if you go into the woods and you see a creature that's 9 feet tall and hairy and big, which sounds intimidating, and I'm not going to lie, if I saw a straight up big, hairy Bigfoot thing, I'd probably shit myself too, which is why I think they don't, for the most part, show themselves. I think they cloak themselves, because they know if they go into the woods and a human sees them in their natural form, they start screaming, "Oh my God, Bigfoot!" They pull out their guns, they start shooting because they're scared. Okay, so that's just my opinion. So no, Bigfoot shows don't get censored, but they also don't tell you the truth. It's all about mountain beast, killer beast, hunting the beast, the mysteries. Oh, you know, and the scary stories where people are out at night and all the Sasquatch are stalking them at night and scaring the shit out of you and howling and screaming and blah, blah, blah. You know, and I'm not going to say that stuff never happens, but I will say this. Every single, all but one or two of the experiences that I've had have all happened in broad daylight. During the daytime, okay? In the afternoon, when the sun is shining, that's when it happens. So this whole thing about you got to go out in the woods and you got to knock on the tree, and that's all bullshit. You will never find Bigfoot. There is no finding Bigfoot. Bigfoot finds you. Okay? Bigfoot finds you. You don't find Bigfoot. Yeah, the narrative is the lie. Now, I don't know what the story is with the aliens, because I don't have any experience. Like, I can't say that I've had any experience where I saw what's called an alien or anything like that, but I've had plenty with the Squatches. And I'm telling you right now, they are real, and they don't like they don't like hanging out with humans so much, I don't think. Because we all freak out and like act stupid every time we see them in the wild. What if it's all military that broke off from our civilization from the South Pacific and used cloaking tech and our controllers? Well, I don't think so, because they do superhuman things. They do things humans can't do. And they also don't walk. They don't have the same physiology as humans. That's how I can tell when a Bigfoot video is legit versus not legit. If it walks like a human, it's a human. You can tell when it's a Bigfoot based on the walk, because physiologically, a human cannot mimic a true Bigfoot gait. A true Bigfoot gait. Anyway, that's my little rant on Bigfoot. Dozens of encounters. How do you summon them? I don't summon them. I'll believe the plane uses no fool before I think Bigfoot exists. No offense. That's cool. I don't care. That's cool. If you guys don't believe me, if you don't believe in Bigfoot, if you think it's all fake, that's cool. Because I know what I've experienced. And, you know, it's just like, you know, when I run into somebody who's a globe believer. Oh, no, it's a ball, you know. Okay, cool. You believe whatever you want to believe. Maybe you haven't seen what I've seen. You haven't experienced what I've experienced. So it's easy to sort of put that one on the shelf as not real. And I totally get it. That's cool. But just know, I 100% say Bigfoot's real. real. Real, real, real. They are there. They are there. They know when you have cancer. They can smell it. Probably. If you're a hunter, you might have a more frightening encounter, or so I've heard. Yes. Yes, because if you go into the woods with that energy, like I'm going to hunt and kill something, they pick that up, right? So there's a lot of hunters who have not so friendly encounters with Bigfoots. But think about it, like that's their domain, and you're going into their domain to take a life, you know? One time I saw this mutant beggar on a street corner. His arms came out of his chest and were real skinny, and he only had 3 fingers on each hand. I couldn't even look at him. God, that sounds weird, Alpha. I've seen very odd stick setups in the woods, almost a language. Yeah, wonder about Squatch. Yes. You should take pictures of them, Sarah G. You know what's funny? Is in the one Sasquatch group that I was in, that was led by this guy, where they would talk about all of the supernatural or the kind of metaphysical stuff involved with Bigfoot, because there's a whole metaphysical thing. They use infrasound, right? Like sound and vibration and stuff below our audible hearing. They can do telepathy. A lot of people have experienced mind speak. Yeah, they have abilities that humans don't have. Or that humans do have, but humans have been educated out of using all those things, and now we're completely unaware of it, and it's all like atrophied abilities that nobody uses anymore. But they definitely can do things that we can't do. And they eat their own poo? I don't know about all that. Please go into more big detail about Bigfoot. They also must eat their own dead or live forever. Well, not necessarily. I mean, you don't see people die every day. You don't just see dead people laying all over the ground everywhere. I mean, how many times have you come across a dead human? It's the same as like a dead wild cat. You know, there's wild cats living all over America, like pumas and stuff. How often do you find a dead puma? You know, it's... And I don't know where they go. I don't know where they take their dead. I don't know how long they live. No, there's no skeletons. There is physical evidence, but yeah. My name was Smallfoot in high school. Oh, all right, you guys, I gotta wrap it up. It's time to go. I lost track of time. I gotta get going. Listen, hey, thank you all for being here with me on this fine Moonday morning. I do appreciate you all. Yeah. Don't forget to join me here tomorrow night with Mark Sargent for another episode of Strange World, and you can see me then, and then maybe Thursday we'll have another Glowbusters Tech episode this Thursday. I'm not really sure, and hopefully I'll be back this Saturday with anti-religious scripture study. And yeah, that's it. All right, thanks for being here. Maybe we'll talk more about Bigfoot next week. All right, peace. And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and Flat Earth-friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com.